Welcome crews. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in Colorado. It is Sunday, January 13th, Monday, January 14th for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm your host, TNT, and we are live tonight from the Mile High Clubhouse.
Hey, Mom.
I hope you guys had an awesome weekend so far.
Lisa.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight on one of our many outlets. You may also find us on KPNL Radio at kpnl-db.com. If you're able to find us on your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, you can find us on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict and Podcast Chaser. Make sure you go over to our Facebook and Twitter. We got a lot of stuff going on over there. And make sure you go to our YouTube page, follow, like, and subscribe, and make sure you give that bell a little tickle so that way next time we have a show coming out, you'll be able to tune into that. So I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. This evening we will be talking to and getting to know Mr. Patrick Cross. Patrick Cross is a TV, radio personality, 28 years experience as a paranormal investigator in ghost activity, hauntings, and the paranormal. Many years research and over 300 investigations with real chilling experiences, including demonic encounters, appearing in books, consulted upon by TV shows, news, and media, appearing on many TV and radio shows included Haunted Case Files Seasons 1 and 2, ghost tracking tours and seminars, investigations at famous Casa Loma in Toronto, and Patrick is a paranormal representative for Emma's Back Porch in Water Street Cooker for the past 18 years. Ghost consultant, tour guide host, TV, media, paranormal representative, and haunted historian tour guide. He's coordinating ghost tour groups from 10 to 250 people for events, seminars, TV, radio, news, live ghost investigations, and hosting media events including Facebook Live Ghost Investigations. Welcome, Patrick, and thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for tonight, having me as a guest on this beautiful February 13th, right before Valentine's Day.
I know, and it's crazy because, like, the Super Bowl, I don't know if you guys watch that at all, but it's right before Valentine's Day, so I'm just sitting here wondering how many people are going to be super hungover tomorrow for Valentine's Day and how that's going to affect the whole day.
Yeah, I don't really get into sports, so I just don't have the time. I mean, I like it, but I got other things I have to do.
Sure. So, yeah, I actually saw on your page not too long ago that you have something pretty big in the works coming up. What's going on with that?
Well, there's a couple of things. Well, I think I talked to you before Christmas, around December 2nd week or something. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because, I usually put out feelers or people call me up for different things or suggestions of TV shows. And I got a call regarding a show that's coming up. I don't even know the name of it yet, but it's all about haunted items. And they were looking for specifically items that were haunted or extremely haunted. So not only that was perfect along my line, because right up my alley, because I got contacted back them. I called them back, say, hey, I got this haunted doll from the 1800s, and it really is a haunted doll. It doesn't just move; it drinks alcohol, it swears, it does everything that normally no haunted doll would do. And we got quite a following now for that. For him is Boo, and he is compressed wood from the 1800s, came from a state home in Alaska. So it's been ongoing ever since, and we've got all kinds of recordings. I think I sent you some, and well, the TV show is really interested, and I did a Zoom interview about 2 weeks ago and sent all the videos and all our photos, and EVPs said they're pretty impressed. They never heard a doll do that before, including him doing various vulgar things and swearing and farting and slurping beer and everything else.
Yeah, and you did send me some videos that I could play on here, just so people can hear. They're short little clips, but it kind of gives you an ideal of Boo and what he actually does. So let me see if I can get this to the right microphone.
I should mention he doesn't sound like he's not a little girl or a child or a boy. He's an actual man who died and somehow attached himself into the vessel of the doll. So the only thing we really got is that he's about 30 years old, very miserable, very nasty guy. I think he died tragically, or he could be a serial killer. I don't know.
Oh, wow. How did you guys come across Boo? How did he come into your life?
Well, my girlfriend, Linda, collects dolls, haunted dolls. And she buys them from a state home from this woman in Alaska. She acquires all kinds of dolls. And the woman was freaking out, saying, like, gotta get rid of this doll, doing all kinds of stuff and causing destruction and blowing up things and causing things to fall and everything else. So we kind of really didn't believe it. But she liked the doll because it's really hard to find a really old doll in that kind of condition, especially a black doll. So black dolls were given to black children, of course, at the time, you know. So it was kind of cool how we got it. And interesting, we got it about 2 days, or she got it 2 days before Christmas in 2019. And just right after she got it, believe it or not, her stove actually, we were trying to get some information from Boo, or we didn't know what to call him. We just called him Boo because he looks like he's causing trouble. When you look at him, it's always Boo. And we were kind of mad at him because we weren't getting any answers EVP-wise. Next thing you know, the next day, he actually caused the stove to blow up and go on fire right after we got him. And so Linda says, well, did you do that? And he actually replied, said, yeah, I did. And then he wrecked the garage door. He just tore it apart. The whole top fell off and came apart. And he said he did it again, and he was laughing about it. So pretty freaky doll. And we found out he just likes to be really violent and lashes out, I guess, from his death or from his past life. And he's really violent. He wants to be a criminal doll.
So do you find that he calms down if you do give him some booze, or?
Well, we didn't really know what to do because, you know, we're trying to get information and try and talk to him. And so I was drinking beer. The beer can was beside him, and all that. Next thing you know, we both heard it in the room. He's slurping, and it wasn't me drinking. He's slurping and going and slurping away. So I go, oh boy, that's it. We got recordings of that, and we gave him beer. But he kind of like, she was drinking vodka. Linda was drinking vodka, so we put that down. He drank that in like a little bit of it in no time, all the way down. It was just amazing. So I said, well, that's his preference. He likes vodka. So I know the photos we usually have, we have a little glass, and we've been taking him to bars and tours, and waitresses and people would give him a drink, and he'd drink it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. And with the physical things that he's doing as far as, you know, starting fires and tearing down garage doors and such, some might think it's more of like a demonic presence, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's just an angry person stuck in a doll's body.
Yeah, that's what we got. And the more we kind of give him drinks, he does stuff, but we calm him down because the alcohol sedates him, so he's not so bad. And then we were listening to rock because I like heavy rock. I listen to AC/DC, Deep Purple, and Led Zeppelin. And he was really getting off on AC/DC and Deep Purple. So his favorite song is Highway to Hell, of course. And maybe he is from the 80s. I don't know. And he would start moving around. Like the chair he was sitting on was moving back and forth as if he was rocking and drinking his vodka. This is pretty amazing stuff.
He was literally rocking out.
Yeah. So we took him on his first tour to a famous restaurant I know in Niagara Falls in Canada called Flying Saucer. And it's an actual UFO landing site that the restaurant is built on, and it actually looks like a UFO, a giant UFO, spaceship restaurant. So if you Google this, or I can send you pictures of it, it's pretty cool. It has its own share of, shall we say, hauntings, but there's like radiation around the building, and it's like hums and all kinds of stuff goes on there. So we took Boo there, and as soon as we sat him down, Linda goes, "Well, Boo, do something." And next thing you know, all the fire alarms go off everywhere in the whole building. It's like, wow, it's like, and waitress go like, nobody touched anything. No, nothing was going on to cause it. All the fire trucks came, police, everything, and ambulance. And Boo said he did it.
That's crazy.
Excuse me. So we got him on video doing it right there live. And you can see a picture of him in his face. And it's like, so he said, yeah, I did it. And we gave him beer and he calmed him down.
Yeah, I wonder what made him choose this doll, because, I mean, this doll's pretty cute. And you can tell it's a really old doll. Kind of reminds me of a Cupid doll, but really cute little doll there. Wonder what made him choose that.
Maybe, 6 or 7 inches tall. We dress him up in different things. He's got a watch on. Sometimes we put a necklace on to make him look cool. He wears a hat. Has different cool outfits. And the other haunted dolls don't like him at all. Like they've actually had recordings say, "Get him away from me," and he's evil and he's a bad doll. He's a bad guy. So it's kind of funny how the other dolls they do sound like children in the dolls, right? And they do complain about him and say, "Get him away from us." So we keep him separate from that. And he kind of likes to bug him.
So when you guys aren't around him, do you keep him in any sort of box or containment or anything to keep him from doing things, or he's just sitting out in a chair or whatnot?
He just basically sits out, but he has kind of moved different positions at different times, but we always have a glass there and she'll fill it up, and next thing you know, it's halfway down. And vodka, as you know, it doesn't evaporate. So it's pretty hard, It's not like it's just something that's been sitting there for days. And costs about $60 a week for him. He's expensive.
Holy shnikes, man! I'd say.
He's drinking vodka all the time, yeah. But when we want something, she has a stressful job. So when she works at work, she gets upset. Well, I wish something would happen to this guy, or my boss is upsetting me. So she sicked Boo on the store thing, like I'm really pissed off, right? And next thing you know, those propane tanks that the cleaners use driving around to clean the floors. Well, she said, "I really hate the smell. I can't stand the smell. Boo, do something." And it literally blew up the propane tank.
Holy crap.
In the store. So it's just phenomenal. And that was great. That put it out of commission. And, then next thing you know, I was driving, and he wasn't even in my car. And this was the summertime. I was really upset about something at work. And I said, "Oh, man, I can't wait at the lights. Boo, do something. Give me a sign." Next thing you know, a car comes flying right out in front of me, whipping, driving really fast, smashes into a traffic pole. The whole car blows up, and the traffic pole falls off. And all the traffic is on. The guy runs around in the car. The whole car's in flames right in front of me. I go, "Well, guess Boo did it." I heard this big laughing in my car. Inside all around the car inside. It was just out of nowhere, just a voice laughing. So I know Boo did it.
That's insane. So what about him makes you guys think that he could perhaps be like a serial killer from the past?
Well, we mentioned something about were you in prison and all that, and he kind of grunts and complains and goes like that, he's got this kind of raspy kind of voice. He kind of I don't know if he's Southern or not, but it's weird because we ask him why he's 30. He's around 30 years old. That's all we know. He doesn't want to talk, but when he kind of drinks, he does say some words, and we have that on VP that we're recording. And a lot of times we can actually hear it in the room as well as on the tape. So it's not like we can just record and play it back. So we hear him going, "Ah." And every time I drink a beer, he goes, "Ah." Or he sips his vodka and goes, "Ah." It's like, oh, man. I don't know. I just got this feeling, and nobody wants to visit him. We've asked other psychics to come and see him, and they're all scared of Boo. So We kind of like have them sedated, but we haven't done much because of the COVID and the lockdowns, really.
Yeah, so has that cut down on your tours and such?
We still did ghost tours in the fall for a couple days, but they're not like it used to be, where we used to get 50 or 100 people out. But we got people on the tour. We brought them with, and nothing really happened. We took them to the haunted cemetery at the church, and we were saying, like, "Boo, do something," or "Boo, interact with a ghost there." And there's this church with a door. Usually, if you knock on the door church, you can conjure up the ghost from the inside coming from the basement. So you'll hear bangs and knocks and banging and talking and whispers of Indians and French and British soldiers. So we put Boo by the door. Boo, talk to the soldiers. And next thing you know, bang, bang, all these banging noises were coming off the door, and everybody ran away. So I was like, and Boo did it.
I wonder if there's like a way to actually figure out who he is. Have you guys done all kinds of investigations on him to try to figure it out, or
Yeah,
are you kind of?
I tried DVPs. I tried a ghost box. Most of it's been analog, so it seems that I can record more when I have the analog tapes, not the digital. And it's like a lower human voice. It's not like below, frequencies you have to put it up from a ghost itself. It's very clear, and you can hear it. He's swearing a lot. I didn't submit a lot of the other ones that were worse swearing to the TV show, but I did send some samples to you, and he just sounds really mad. You can hear it very clearly when he's swearing at.
That's awesome, and I do have those right here, so we can try playing those really quick. Let me make sure my volumes are right.
I have it on my computer here too, if you can't hear it.
Okay.
Patrick? You like Patrick? You like Patrick?
So what did he say there?
I think it was a bit loud that you played it, but he says, screw you, effing bitch.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's and then there's another one that he says, F, I died, pissed me off. So yeah, that was another one he said. This is when we were first trying to get him to talk. So he was really mad. I guess he hates women too. I don't know. He really hated Linda. He kept calling bitch and this and that and screw you, bitch. And then he just goes, go for a leak. Tells me to go for a leak after I'm drinking my beer. Right? It's just weird.
Maybe I don't know, maybe he's leaking vicariously through you.
Well, I wish I guess if there was anybody out there who was really a good psychic or a medium who could maybe click in on Boo and find out and can really find out or do a remote, we could really find out more. And I'd like that anybody can come forward and see if we can get more information from him, because he's just not talking much.
Yeah, he's not much of a talker. Here's another clip. Oh shoot, I heard it that time.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. We cut out the part where he says he's going to kill you.
It's too violent.
He doesn't do anything to us personally, but when he wants to be violent, he smashes things. Things go flying off the counter, the table, or the door bangs. So many times I'll do an EVP, start recording, and you'll hear the door bang behind, not 3 times, really hard. So they're telling us he's there. It's just bizarre, but he gets away with it because he looks so damn cute. That's the reason why.
Yeah, how can you be mad at that face? And if you guys haven't seen him, I did post some pictures of him on our We Are Paradox Media Facebook page, as well as some crash site and other photos. But Yeah, he's super cute. That's why I'm like, what made him choose that? And maybe it is because he looks very sweet and unsuspecting, and so he's like, man, this is the perfect body to take control of or to possess.
Yeah, it's like a criminal hiding out, and I've never run into any dolls that do like there's years ago I had another doll but it was mostly saying, it was a female, a little girl saying, leave me alone and get out of here and screw you and that. But this was a little girl who died in a fire or something, and she was really malevolent, but nothing like Boo.
Yeah, he seems to be one of a kind. I think this one is of his bodily functions. Let's play this one, and I'll play it 3 times.
Dude, what do you have to say to Patrick? Are you mad at him? Dude, what do you have to say to Patrick? Are you mad at him? Dude, what do you have to say to Patrick? Are you mad at him?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's Boo farting or flatulating. He does it a lot. And he burps too. He can burp and go right after he drinks a beer. I can't explain it, but we just have a following, and everything. It's like this bizarre stuff, and we don't want him to do violence. We don't want to kill anybody, but I guess the last really bad incident that happened was Linda was saying that her landlord was bugging her and to cut the grass, right? And he's supposed to do it, but he doesn't. So she was kind of mad and swearing at them. So we go and do something to the landlord and his lawnmower. Next thing you know, the lawnmower blows up. So that put that one out of commission in the summertime. That was hilarious.
Perfect timing. That ought to teach that landlord. And it's pretty difficult because people can get fines and stuff for not maintaining their yards, depending on where you live at. But man, he likes explosions. I wonder if he's some sort of pyro.
Yeah, but it's just weird because it just happens like when we say it. It's not like you wait a day or 24 hours or 10 minutes. As soon as you say something, it happens. And I've got, like I said, the car blew up in front of me, and then the next thing you know, again I'm going to work, and I was kind of mad about something, and I was thinking, Boo, do something in traffic, and that traffic lights to make the lights change. Give me a sign. Next thing I think, the whole traffic light falls right over onto a car on the other side. I got that video too. It's like I'm right there, so it's like there's no way it can be coincidental. It just happens when I say it, It's like, wow, I got that captured too. So I got all 4 videos of it. Some of them are on my website, on my face page, so if you wanted to look at them. Just phenomenal.
Can you tell our listeners what your website and Facebook page are so they could go and check that out?
Well, my main thing that's really going now that people are following me is my Facebook, which is Patrick Cross, or Patrick Cross Ghosts. Website, I don't have really much of Boo on there because I don't want people to start using it and stealing it because web pages go worldwide, right? I don't put anything on there because people have in my past stolen videos and EVPs and use it on their own sites. But on Facebook, I have it on there. My website is burlingtonghostwalks.ca, and it has all my media and TV stuff and all the other things I've done, and mostly about all the ghost walks and a lot of the ghost photos that are there. So I have all that, that people can see. But mostly on the Facebook, and you can see the videos of Boo. I mean, the car blowing up and the traffic lights going too and blowing up. It's just phenomenal. And blew up at the flying saucer. So we actually got that as I was walking in, and it just happened.
So is this the one that you sent me pictures of, or is this another UFO thing?
Oh, the other ones that we're going to talk about that is the UFO crash. That's separate from Boo.
Okay.
No, that's not the. I have to send you the video of if you want to post it later of the flying saucer. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, definitely.
It's gone pretty viral. It's got like 10,000 hits already.
So what happened with that?
Pardon?
What happened with that? Can you explain what happened?
Well, it was the first time we actually took Boo anywhere to a restaurant. Well, no, we went to Emma's back porch, but we went to this restaurant to see what he would do, right? And the restaurant has its own hauntings anyway, the Flying Saucer. It's pretty famous in Niagara Falls in Canada site. Americans go there too. So anyway, Linda was sitting inside. She went in with Boo, put him on the table, ordered a beer for me and Boo, and I was outside coming in. Next thing you know, I hear all the alarms going off outside, and I go, whoa! So I luckily had my camera going. I was just shooting everything, and I caught it all live, and all the fire trucks are coming, and fire ambulances and fire guys, and the staff are freaking out. Waitress going, what's going on? What's going on? We're all looking at Boo. Everybody's just staring at Boo, and we hear this voice saying, I did it. You know, it's just bizarre. And as everybody starts laughing, we told the story, and the firemen heard it, and they're laughing their heads. There's no way like a doll did that, right? It's just nuts. Got it all live right there. Yeah, and then they got another video after that of Boo apologized to the waitress that he did it.
He's like, I'm sorry, I just couldn't help myself.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't usually happen because you literally have to hit a switch to do that. But they went off everywhere, sprinklers, everything, just phenomenal. So that was the start of it. Then they posted us, and we kind of got famous out of that. They wanted to keep coming back to bring Boo and cause more problems.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I guess they got really good insurance.
So I did this video interview, and a woman from the TV show was kind of like the producer was kind of scared. She goes, I don't know if I want that. So I said, well, if you want real haunted items, here you go. All right. So I don't know when we're starting to film that. I don't even know the title of it, but it's the producers of Haunted Hospitals. So that's in the running. Hopefully, Boo is your ticket for fame. You know, fame. Maybe Zach Bagans will like it. I don't know. But this is really actually happens as we are there with ghost box and EVPs and recordings. So it's not like you have to wait for an arm to move or a little finger to move or a nose. This is all very active doll.
Have you guys had any paranormal teams up there in Canada come and check them out?
Well, not really. I've had one psychic woman, and she kind of came and ran away. And then we had another psychic person who said they know about haunted dolls. And even the guy from London, England, who posts haunted dolls of doing things, he goes, wow, how none of my dolls do that? And he's live all the time, and hardly his dolls do anything, you know, like Boo does everything. So, no, we're looking for, like I am psychic, but I can't get into Boo's character because he just kind of closed off, you know. If anybody is really psychic can like get into his psyche and try and find out him as a real person, right? I mean, a dead person, a man in the doll, not just a little kid or a child.
That'd be awesome if they could, if you could figure out the history. And I wonder where this doll originally came from. So the lady that had him before, did she own him originally? Like, was he passed down throughout the family, or did she pick him up at some sort of auction or whatnot?
Well, there were other dolls with it. I think they were haunted too, but she didn't buy the other dolls. So I think they came with several other ones from the estate, but the woman didn't really disclose much. And the fact is that she get it out of here, and it was causing problems and nothing sickness, but going on the same stuff. And I guess if Boo doesn't like you, he causes more problems. So things were smashing and flying all over the place at her place. And she sent it, and then Linda got it in the mail. And when we opened it, it was kind of weird because, like, you know, she didn't really think much of it. And then she puts it upstairs. The next thing you know, her stove blows up the next couple of hours later.
Oh, my gosh.
Right before Christmas, too.
Bad time of year for fires.
Well, we didn't know if he was a pyro guy then, but he likes blowing up things. So I guess that's related to the car blowing up and then the fire alarms, which is fire related at the Flying Saucer. And then coming home in our car, we're like coming back and we're playing AC/DC and he's like jumping around in the bag. You can hear him jumping around. ACDC. Like she's holding him in the bag, and the bag is jumping up and down. So he's loving it, right? Like, oh my goodness, rocking paranormal haunted like drinking doll.
That's awesome. And it's funny how you guys like figure all this stuff out. Just the activity that this guy's got going on. I wonder. I don't know. For some reason, I keep wondering if he was black too. If that's why he chose that particular doll.
Well, he definitely sounds, like an older guy. It doesn't sound like a black guy. Black voice. You can hear the voices. It's kind of like a mean, late 20s, 30s kind of guy. But maybe he drowned because, like, one day we were asking about water, and he didn't want to be around water. He said, no water, no. See, he said something like lake, or he's from a lake. And that was I was going through EVPs last week. They said it was in a lake. So I don't know if he drowned and it was in a lake, but he needs drinks. But he's never sounded like he's drowning with his voice.
Yeah, he just has a fear of water.
Yeah, so that's one of the EVPs I recovered. Sound like Erie Lake or Ryan Lake or Real Lake. They said no, Real Lake. Kind of hard to disclose, but I picked that up that he was found in a lake or he died in a lake.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Haven't done much with him lately because just things are locked down, COVID, and he's drinking vodka and spending all the money on that.
You're like, boo, you're gonna have to start kicking in some way or another here. We need some money for your drinking habit, man.
Yeah, the other dolls are kind of like staying away from them. They haven't really said anything. And I did another podcast right before Christmas as well with Unexplained, incorporated with Phil, and we didn't know if he was going to interact or not. We had Boo live, and towards the end we said, Boo, want to say something to Phil? You're on the air, And all he did was burp and went, ah. And we got that live, so that's another cool thing. So he actually did respond to Phil, and Phil goes, whoa. So Phil was kind of freaked out. He doesn't like haunted dolls.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people don't like dolls, period. Like, they kind of creep them out, just like the whole clown thing. Certain people have certain fears, and the fear of dolls seems to be a big one. I had these two classic-looking, really pretty porcelain dolls that my brother had given me to give to the girls, and they never liked them. They never wanted them. So we just put them in the top of the closet. But I've been wondering, was there something about the dolls, like maybe they were haunted or something that they didn't like, or do they just not like this certain type of doll? Because they liked other dolls, but these just kind of freaked them out. So I wonder, maybe I could put an EMF meter or something up next to them, see if there's any activity, or like you guys do, like do some voice recordings or whatnot, try to pick up some EVPs.
Well, I've tried using the ghost box, and as you know, the SB7, because it picks up, words and goes through the frequencies. And all I could hear him say was F, screw you, F. That's all I heard through the white noise sounds. It was pretty weird.
But it's pretty awesome too, because that's not allowed on the radio, so it's not a radio station coming through.
It was definitely out of place because nobody would be swearing on the radio, and it was going F on the radio, and it was coming clearly through.
Yeah, it's really a bummer about your guys' tours and stuff. So has COVID really kicked up there where you guys live?
It's calmed down a lot. A lot of unfortunately, we have some mandates, and you guys have taken them all down. So it's finally all the restaurants and things are open again, but it was closed for another month. But they're gonna eventually start relaxing the mandates. Like, I can't travel because of the mandates. So I'm in Canada, and I used to go into psychic shows and everything, in the U.S. And at seminars, and now I can't travel because you can't travel and all these restrictions. And then when you come back, you got to be quarantined for 14 days. So it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I was watching the whole thing on the truckers, and at first I was thinking it was here in America because, I mean, it popped up on my YouTube news. I watched news on there and check out different stories going on. Not all of them, but some that piqued my interest. And I was like, what's going on with this? And just the different mandates that they're doing and how it's causing issues with even truckers coming across the border and delivering things. And Trudeau's just really pissed everyone off. And so, I mean, it's been a big thing, and it's been going on.
He won't let anybody. Yeah, he won't let anybody in without being vaccinated, and then it's stopping deliveries and causing border problems. And then they had major blocking at the Parliament buildings, and oh man, it's all a mess. And they want to really stop the mandates lifted and stop it from like vaccines, and that's what they're saying. No more of this, no more of that. So deliveries are getting affected, and food is getting affected. Deliveries to stores on both sides, on your side and our side, just because of all this.
So does it look like he's going to change any of those mandates, or is he just standing fast?
Well, they're starting to relax them. They said they're working on putting a bill out to, like the premier is actually trying to put a stop to it and relax it so things in the economy can start getting better, right? That way, because a lot of people weren't working, and it's just affected so many things.
So we had been talking about COVID a bit with my husband being in ICU and stuff, and that brings me back to, you were talking about haunted hospitals, that show. I used to watch that back in the day, and I've had experiences in hospitals, not only myself, but bringing my little ones in. One of my daughters, when they were a baby, were like lifting her feet up from the ground, and she said people were reaching, through the ground trying to grab her, and a lady kept reaching through the wall of my dad's room there and touching her hair. So I quit taking her there, but when I've been going to the ICU and such, I'll take some protective stones with me, as well as my St. Michael medallion when I go in, because I believe dark things do hang out in hospitals. It's just like a nice little feeding ground there, as far as fears and sorrow and, picking up on souls or whatnot. And this land that this hospital is built on is actually donated by the Native American tribe known as Utes. And
right.
that kind of piques my interest too, but I'll always take a protective stone in there. But you were telling me some things that you had learned about COVID and things that actually help. Would you be willing to share that?
Hopefully this won't get shut down when I say it, but I'm not vaccinated. I refuse to take a vaccine because I have severe allergic problems. I had pneumonia twice before, a couple of years ago. I had blood clots in my legs. I have asthma. I have severe allergic reactions. So for example, I had a spider bite, believe it or not, in May this year, and went on my leg and I scratched it. My whole leg blew up like a baseball, and just from that, my whole leg was totally infected. So it was just nuts because that never really happens, but it was just an allergic reaction. So my doctor said at the hospital, you can't take any vaccines, you'll lose your leg. So it's just, that's why I'm trying to be pro non-vaccine, because not everybody can take it, right? This is the problem. Some people have medical issues. You just can't force somebody to take it if you have problems. And they're forcing everyone. You got to be vaccinated. Well, it's starting to get better now. But anyway, the weird thing is I found out from a doctor who is actually works with some of the major world flags and cases, that there is a medication or pill you can take called quercetin. And it was actually used for bubonic plague, believe it or not. And it's actually made to stop a lot of viruses going into your body and infections. So I've been taking it, and it's helped me a lot. I haven't got sick. I've had a bit of things like, colds and sniffles and sneezing and nose stuff, but nothing really bad because I'm prone to getting sick. And ever since I took this with vitamin C, it's actually cleared it up and helped for pneumonia. So basically, the virus of the COVID is pneumonia. It's an enhanced part of the virus. Mm-hmm. And I've already had pneumonia twice, so I didn't want to do anything or go to the hospital. Anyway, the doctors are also saying that this is from a world doctor. I don't know if I'm going to get shut down for this, But believe it or not, nobody really knows what's in the virus, in the vaccination.
Right.
And they found that there is little nanoids, metal pieces in the vaccination that are actually taking over your body and replicating itself like some science fiction movie to turn.
Holy shnikes.
We are made out of carbon. Our whole body is made carbon. They're turning everybody into synthetic beings, and it's all run by the world order of reptilians on the Illuminati. So it's all covered up. And if they ever ask anything or anything's posted on COVID, they shut it down. Nobody can comment on Facebook. If you ever noticed, you put things up to warn people, and it's all shut down. Nobody wants to tell you what's in the vaccination. There's also vaccination, believe it or not, what it's made of. The serum is made up of HIV virus as well, which is causing major problems. It's also causing you get HIV, right? Your whole immune system shuts down, and that's what they're trying to do. And their whole idea is if you live, you live. If you die, you die. They're trying to wipe out half the population of the world. And they're doing a pretty good job of it. That's what it's made of, and nobody will tell you. And a lot of the nurses know that, and doctors know that. And they're telling you not to take it, and they keep boosting it, and the booster is really the kill shot. So it's actually your body is fighting the immunity. You're naturally fighting against these invasion of little minute, replicants.
Nanobots.
Things. Yeah, taking over your body and destroying your cells, and it happens over a couple of months. It causes brain tumors, it causes cancer, and anybody that dies just says, "Oh, it's COVID related."
Yeah.
They won't tell you why people die or what it is. And it's the first, vaccine that's ever happened in history where you keep forcing it upon somebody to take it.
Yeah, I do remember reading that back in the day when Spanish influenza came, they were actually going door to door and having people take it. And I've seen some freaky videos, like in Mexico and other places, where they're actually, searching people's houses, and then they actually found this guy on his roof, and 3 guys in their white, hazmat suits go up there, tackle him down, and jab it in him, And I know a lot of people, like in the UK and Scotland and stuff, call it the jab. That's a popular term for it. But it's just insane how hard they're pushing this. And even
because they never went in history, and they're trying to push it to turn people from in carbon with your natural immunity can fight anything, and into having no immunity because you keep getting vaccination for this, then other things come in, and they'll keep releasing more and more stuff. So it breaks down your whole immunity. You don't have a system to fight anything anymore. And when I've got the flu and stuff before, my natural immunity, with some vitamins and medication, I was able to fight it. So I've been telling everybody. And now I've been told to cease and desist and not post it. I had something on my website, on my Facebook, and it got shut down by Google, by Facebook.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so, I know. Even when I've posted...
Don't take it. Don't take it. I mean, it's on the era. They shouldn't be forcing it in on you at all. It's against your rights.
Yeah, it's your right to decide whether you want to or not. And my second oldest daughter, she's 17. We all got COVID the same time Vern did. He just took it worse than everyone else because he gets bronchitis every year. He doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, doesn't do anything, and he took it the hardest. But she's really considering taking the vaccination, and she started crying because she doesn't understand why I'm not going to take it. And I'm like, to me, this is just too experimental at this point. I've taken other vaccinations, but this one I'm not going to take. And there are quite a few adverse reactions, a lot of people dying from this. They're not advertising that, of course, because they want you to take it. But now they're pushing it to kids from certain ages, and now they're doing kids under the age of 5. They're trying to push it on there too, and I just I don't know. It really freaks me out.
Like 80% of the population has it, even more. I think 89% in Canada. And there's the ones that are still fighting, like the truckers. We're not taking it. And to actually lose your job over not having a vaccine, it's like, come on, it's almost like a concentration camp. And you couldn't go to bars, you couldn't do this. It's the mark of the beast, right? 666. If you look in the Bible, it says nobody will be able to buy anything, do anything without this mark, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. And then there's these little COVID passports and stuff that shows what you have. And they've recently started doing that here too at certain places and places where they have musical events and such. You have to show that you've been tested within the last 2 days, or you have to show that you've got the vaccination, so on and so forth. I don't know. I feel like since I got Omicron, which has so many different mutations in it, I feel like I'm pretty well covered. But then recently I heard there was another strain that just came out. But I do believe
it's a B something, a B5 or B4 or something.
Yeah, and it's like, there's so many people with their fingers in this. Trudeau is one of the names that I heard. Also, I heard that Bill Gates had invested in this. Like, so many different people invested in this thing that they experimented with in the Chinese laboratory over there. Is it China? No, it's Japan, correct? I think it's China.
Not China. But the weird part is, like you said, they're all trying to control everybody, force it on you, and then control and wreck the human race. And they don't care if you get sick or anything. If you get sick, oh, well, you're in a hospital. Like, you're going to get it anyway. They just want you to get the jab and die. And it's like, that wasn't the point of living. We're human beings, and they're trying to change the race. And I disagree. And there's all these people rising up against it, and the government.
Yeah.
And in Canada and the U.S., because I don't want it. I don't need it, and we shouldn't be forced on it. And to stop you from not living your life or going anywhere, like in Walmart in Quebec, Ontario, Canada, they're stopping people from going into Walmart. They have to be vaccinated or they won't be let in. It's just nuts. They're really strict over there. And they were going to bring out a tax, believe it or not, to tax people who are unvaccinated.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they dropped it. So Quebec is going to do it. Just because you're not vaccinated, you'll get taxed. Like, is that stupid or what?
If you ain't vaxxed, you're going to get taxed. Oh, man.
I mean, I've had it with a guy. It's just crazy. Then they lift some restrictions and they don't. Some people can fly, then other people can't. It's just like you can go in some places and you can't. It's it's crazy. I just want to get away from the world, go somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I was keeping my distance from people before it was cool. I like staying at home. I like staying away from people because people kind of freak me out. I like weird people.
I mean, I go to work and back, really. Other than doing TV and radio, I mean, within reason, on mostly on digital and videos and podcasts. I stay away, and I don't want to get sick. You hear somebody coughing, they run away. They don't even cover their face or anything, and it's just nuts. But they go to a restaurant bar and can eat with no mask, and they're coughing away. So what's the difference?
I know. It's like you have to wear your mask to your table, but you don't have to wear your mask at your table. What's the difference? Like, there was a case that I saw towards the beginning where this lady had gone into a restaurant, and about 20 feet away across the restaurant, somebody was over there coughing. She's far enough away, but still she caught it. She got COVID as well. But it kind of makes me think, the Georgia Guidestones came out and is talking about world population. Once the population hits a certain number, then certain things have to happen. And then I think that's what this COVID is, as well as vaccinations and so on and so forth. But yeah, like I was telling my daughter, it's my right not to get it. It's your right. Your right to get it if you want to. And then the nurse that we were talking to the other day, Vern narked on me because I told him how bad he scared me, how close he was to dying. And the nurse came in and he's like, yeah, she's been sitting here telling me scary stories. And I'm like, first off, it was one scary story. And yeah, you did scare the shit out of me. Not just me, but the kids with you trying to die with COVID and everything. And like you said, it's got pneumonia as its like hardcore sidekick there. It wouldn't have been COVID really that killed him because COVID goes away within a certain amount of time. It would have been the pneumonia that was caused by COVID because he had severe pneumonia, still a little bit in one of his lungs, but the other one's kind of cleared out. But the nurse was like, not to be morbid, but most people that come into the ICU with COVID never go home. So he's considered the miracle child. He likes to turn it around to sound more manly, so now he's calling himself the miracle man. Whatever floats your boat, but I'm so glad he's getting better. And he's just like proving everyone wrong, and he's gonna beat this thing. But he is dealing with COVID-related paralysis. He just got his trach taken out today. Like, he's just growing and healing by leaps and bounds. Pretty soon he'll be
but he has long. Well, hopefully he will recover most of it. But people have long-term effects from
Mm-hmm.
it. So it's not like if you did get it, but everyone's going to get it anyway. They're even saying here, people are fully vaccinated with booster shots are in the
Still get it.
hospital, and they're still fully vaccinated, and they're still getting sick. Worse than people who are unvaccinated. So, and that's just the whole thing.
It's like, pick your
So the
poison.
vaccine isn't doing anything at all. The vaccine isn't. I think it's doing nothing. It's used a way to control people and herd them, and it's going to be a world order. That's what the agenda is.
Yeah, speaking of herd, Colorado last I saw was actually at 80% herd immunity. I'm sure it's up from there since I last looked, which was a month or so ago. But we're at 80% herd immunity, and that's what I've been waiting for all along. But then I did end up getting sick. And I think of all people to bring it home, it was my son. I get freaked out every single day. I get emails from the schools. This class, this class, this class tested positive. This student was known to be in this class at this last date. Make sure you keep an eye on your kids for any symptoms. It's like, great, you guys already fucked us up with getting COVID around Christmas time. Merry Christmas. We got up, opened presents, and we all went back to bed because we didn't feel well enough to eat Christmas dinner. It was just the saddest thing ever. Vern got it on his birthday, which was the 22nd of December. I was just like, happy birthday and Merry Christmas. Here's your little
great.
COVID.
Well, I think everybody's has got it, some milder, some worse than others. You're bound to get it. But, I mean, it's just like the flu. It goes around, it used to be around Christmas. Everybody would get it. They would do nothing. Nobody really cared. Oh, here's a flu shot. That's all they did, And it's this whole big blow-up agenda of this whole vaccine. Not one, not two, not three, not four. Only how long is it going to go? And then a booster shot. And now they're talking about pills every day. You won't have an immunity. You won't have a body left.
Right? And extra boosters. Okay, you already had your first booster. Now it's time for number 2 or number 3 or number 4. How many more boosters do you have to get for this shit? And how often? Like, this is just batshit crazy. And, truth is indeed stranger than fiction. But like you said, it's like a freaking sci-fi movie. When COVID first came out, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, Outbreak, with Dustin Hoffman in it. I put that on, and my husband's like, of course you got to play this shit. And I was like, yeah, because, it's kind of like what's going on right now, like this total outbreak of this virus. And I think especially since Omicron came around, every single person I know, like everyone is getting it. And I did hear it's fast spreading and it can jump around or whatever, but yeah, it seems like everybody and their dog are getting it. Which is weird. Well, even animals can get it.
It's less of a thing, but it's more like a cold that everybody's getting. Just like anything else, you get a cold with a lower form. But the whole point is like you're going to eventually get rid of it on your own body system, your immunity. Then taking vaccine, it's going to wreck it. And then something else comes out, getting another vaccine, something else. You won't have a body left. That's what I'm saying. People are going to have blood clots. They're losing, getting tumors, brain problems, everything. All kinds of stuff is going on. Respiratory, lung infections, everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, for a lot of people, it's just like the common cold, or generally, I never get a fever with a cold, but with the flu, I do. And so at first, I thought my son just had the flu. But they were so resilient, they had it, and they got over it, and it was like nothing. I think my son had a residual cough. Nobody else really has, except for me. Like, my lungs are just really weak. The more I go and haul wood or haul the trash down and stuff, the stronger they get. So I think I'm getting better, but poor Vern, I guess, his heart rate's been really high. And so they changed his blood pressure medication, but that's one of the side effects of not only the vaccination, but of getting COVID, is you can have heart problems and clotting problems and all kinds of other stuff like that. It's just craziness.
Well, it increases everything you might have had before it came along, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, can cause heart attacks, can cause all kinds of things in your lungs, in your system. Swelling, legs swelling, muscles, arm blotches. Oh, no matter, it's like a movie, like you said. It's just, well, I've been really lucky, but fortunate. I've been staying away from the world, so it's been good that way.
Right.
I want to have a bunker.
At least we have some really good stuff to watch. We got Netflix, we got YouTube, we got so many different variations of things that are online right now, and they don't cost a lot, but at least we have some entertainment going on instead of a hoop and a stick, or whatever our grandparents had back in the day of the Spanish influenza.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, the flu vaccination, even, like, I've taken it a few times, and generally it's because I'm carrying another individual within my body, and so I'm like, I'm not going to be selfish. I'll take this vaccination. Every single time I've taken the flu vaccination, I've gotten sick. So, I haven't been pregnant in, let's say, 6 years. So I don't take it because I don't want to get sick. It always makes me sick. Even though it's a dead virus in your body, my body doesn't like this foreign object in there.
Well, they won't tell you what the vaccine is made of. When you ever ask them, they won't tell you the stuff they're doing it now. But I know what it is, and they've even had magnets on the vaccination, and you can see things attracted to the metal of the magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Through a microscope, and you can see little things backing off and moving around inside if you look at a microscope at it, but they won't tell you. And they won't give you a sample of it either, so they're all covered up.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, most vaccinations, they've been scientifically proven, et cetera, like, they have all the ingredients in there, but when the COVID vaccination came out, or different medications along those lines, you open it and it says ingredients, and there's nothing in there. They don't want you to know what's in there, and they could say, oh, we're just trying to protect our formula, blah, 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 we don't want somebody else to steal it. Give me a freaking break. Like, we have the right to know what the hell we're putting in our bodies. And some vaccinations, from what I've learned, have, what is that liquid metal? Starts with an M, mercury in it.
Yeah, and all this toxic stuff, it can kill you. It's just crazy. Like, it's like I don't want that in my body. It's just nuts. I don't want to be infected. And it replicates. It doesn't just, takes over cells. It wastes out your cells. I think protecting you in the body.
Yeah, I feel kind of protected because I am a homebody. I prefer to stay home. I only go out when I have to. I did homeschool, which I referred to as homeschool hell last year, but the kids wanted to go to school this year, so it doesn't matter how much I stay home anymore. They're still out there and, in the world and getting infected. Like I said, Floyd brought it home. But on that note, we do have to go to our first music break. On this break, we have King Cinnamon from Biafra, Nigeria with Fantastic, as well as Ale Imo Edrella, and then we have Hosni Bronx, who is actually originally from Jamaica, but he lives a lot of the time in the Bronx of New York. A lot of his band members are actually original members from Bob Marley and the Wailers, and he's going to be singing Dance as a Lion. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
We swap on the beat. Shabba, like no water bam bam. King Cinnamon. Oh shit, baddest. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Baby, gather something. Come on closer, baby, gather 19. I know you better, but I am the king. Your backside bigger than Bombay. Baby girl, broncotum. I like the way you want your broncotum. Baby girl, broncotum. I like the way you want your broncotum. Jamaica, Ghana. Shout out to the ladies in Asia, Nigeria, South Africa. Say me love you. Turn up from you. Yeah. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. love you. Give me love, give me love. Oh, give me love, give me love. Hey, please me, baby. Oh. Yeah, turn up from you. Yeah, take your bum bum anywhere you day. Throw your bum bum, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Shake your bum bum anywhere you day. Throw your bum bum, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. King Cinema. You know what I'm saying?
We spot on the mix. Lift it all. chant the word people in love. People in love. People in love. People in love. Yeah. Humanity won't protect humanity. We have to save people from poverty. We don't want your frustration. We don't want your ambush Babylon.
We swap on the beat.
Ka anyị kelee Chineke makwa n'ala Imo bụ ndị njem ọnụ. Ka anyị kelee onye nwe ụwa ịmakwa n'ala Imo bụ ndị njem ọnụ. Imo alime kerelo alimo alime kerelo alimo state alime kerelo alimo alime kerelo alimo state alime kerelo alimo alime kerelo democracy kerelo ndi me meriela alimo alime kerelo alimo alime kerelo alimo state alime kerelo alimo alime kerelo democracy meriela ndi me meriela elega marama ebere marama ofa no marama yes lady marama her excellency elega idio hamma elega idio hamma omenka unanya idio hamma omenka unanya wa emeka make modima emeka make modima emeka puta no boy oh yeah umu wa wulenu emeka puta no boy woko madima umu we mewe mpoto emeka make modima emeka make modima ndem jejemba nwan jejemba ndem jemano deputy governor Imo State Chilike Gerard Ronna Karaka Woko Madima Porabo deputy governor Wele Deregema Alukuta Deregema Alimo State Deregema Ala Nigeria Maragema Onye Jemano Standing one Muche Karaka Onye Babamba President Good Life Foundation Chilike President General Senate Group of Companies President General Financial Matter Karaka Alo were Deregema Alambise Deregema Alimo State Deregema Ala Nigeria Maragema Onye Jemano Franklin Neji Shirike Pepe Arabido Hotels ABC Transport Karaka Alo were Deregema Alambise Deregema Alimo State Deregema Ala Nigeria Maragema Uchonya go chande Honorable Woko Madima Onye hụrụ na keleli ya o ma wugi ye Ginando tugio ma wunule Njiji gari jinala Imo State yo ma wugi ye Ginando tugio ma wunule Miri gari zonala Imo State yo Alo were Deregema Alo were Deregema Alimo State Deregema Ala Nigeria Maragema The German Orange Drugs Limited Jisa Anthony Ifani Chukundu Business na Ishirike Ikenga Dijele Pride of his people Most outstanding one Okoma Marama Iborabo Alo were Deregema Alijato Deregema Alimo State Deregema Ala Nigeria Maragema Honorable Jogwagu Shirike Honorable Dobina Shirike Jere Labosa Shirike Tochukwu Kereke Shirike Okahube Shirike Injinia Benin Shirike Onye mana construction Woko Madima Ikaraka Onye Shiwore Hebowarani Edemu Imarama Woko Madema Ikaraka, Quiz Popule, Hip of Elamo, Onyomana Pito, Akana Kompa, Ikaraka, Eziwa Mama, Mr. Luduliwa, Moko Meje Jemba, CEO Elizabeth Ventures, Ikaraka, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo. Thank God I'm from Imo State. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, make you jubilate, make you celebrate. Emeka shikwen be say, this one no be say them say. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, celebrate, make you jubilate. Ala mekele His Excellency Achikudenwa. Lekele kwa His Excellency Dr. Hakim. Yemaka Right Honorable BDK. Lekele kwa Right Honorable Jones Oyereri. Ala mekele Senator Onyebuchi Mr. Empowerment. Lekele kwa Right Honorable Emeka Chinedu. Umo mimo lowali bia meziena alimo. Alima Dilama.
Cliffito.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on the Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. This evening, we are joined by Mr. Patrick Cross. Welcome back, Patrick, and thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Of course, always here, out there somewhere.
Okay, beyond this. So this hour we wanted to talk about UFOs, aliens, interdimensional aliens, so many different things along this realm. So I know your family has an early history of dealing with UFOs, but your most recent one was in the neighborhood. There was a light flying by or whatnot, and all of a sudden there's this huge crash, and all the neighbors are coming out like, what was that? So definitely tell us a little bit about what happened there, and where do you live as well, like what city?
I live in Burlington, Ontario. I guess you can Google that. And Burlington, Ontario, Canada. But the interesting thing is, it's weird because, like, there was just a giant, it was light information. I didn't think it would be a burn. Neighbors saw it, heard it, and then it was down right there. Just everybody went out to the back. A giant flash of light was flying in, coming across the sky, down, and the whole area lit up, and this big boom went flying across the area, was crashing straight down to the area, and it went straight down. So, it was all hard. You couldn't see it at night. Nothing was really there glowing. It was hard to tell what was happening. I really think it went down, power. Nothing got really affected. It was a massive light flash, and the light went down. It wasn't like, and they heard the air just swishing across, So I couldn't really make it down. It was so bad the weather for a couple of days, and finally I was able to clear up. I guess I was 4 or 5 days later. Nobody was there. Nobody tried anything. That was it. Like, nobody really was there. And I think that's kind of weird. What are the reporters all about crashing? Nothing at all. Yeah. And you go there, and there's a police truck, and they go, come on, come around here, like, get some speak, like, nothing happened, right? So, pretty bizarre. I finally was able to get through the rest of it. They went cleared up. And I tried going down the creek, and I could see a giant skid mark of something that crashed was going through. But the way it went, you could literally see the top of the trees were ripped apart, but the trees were standing, and all the markers were ripped off. It wasn't a lightning strike, it was something else. It's totally nuts. And I was able to get pictures of that anyway. Literally going down in the creek, and you could see a whole giant mark. Something ended up in the bottom. So, I was trying to figure it out. Then the next 2 days later, there was everywhere pulling it off. There was all because they said, "You can't take pictures, can't do nothing." I said, "Why? It's a creek." "Oh, it's under the government. It's under inspection. We have to look at land erosion." Like, who does land erosion and fixing it up, right? Because it's just a giant creek. Who cares? I couldn't go down there. It was all cornered off. So I managed to get the pictures, and then I ran after the pictures. The workers are trying to come over to me. One guy says, "You got to delete those." I said, "I'm not deleting them. They're my pictures. I'm just shooting the creek." Said, "You can't do that."
Yeah, you have every right to film, and even cops try that sometimes. "Oh, you have to turn that camera off, or you have to delete that right now." No, now you're trying to violate my rights. What is your name again? Can I have your badge number? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just nuts. And, well, anyway, I was able to get pictures, and when I did go in, was in the day, like right after it happened, people were watching me take them. They came out of nowhere. I don't know who they were, and some guy who was undercover detective cop came over. Said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just taking pictures." They said, "You can't come in this area." And he didn't have a badge, nothing, just unmarked cars. It was just nuts. So anyway, I got the photos, and then right before all that happened, it was about 2:00 in the afternoon. I heard all this humming, just humming in the whole air, crackling, and I heard something moving in the bushes. So I quickly took my camera and shot. I didn't know what I was seeing because there was nothing there that I could see. All of a sudden, I just heard this humming and like something crashing through the bush, but there was nothing there. And just then the humming stopped. So I went and looked at my photos. Right after this guy starts coming out of nowhere, he just appears. Like there's no cars, he just appears, And out of the blue, he just like flying right in, like some ghost. It was just nuts. I don't even know who the guy was. So I looked at it again, and it looks like, well, it looks bizarre because if you see it, it looks like some alien or some entity or some being opening up a vortex, a large mass, and you could look at it, and it looks like the form of a person, of a large man.
It looks almost like Bigfoot.
Yeah, like a Bigfoot, dimensionally. And then, like, it was coming through, so it was fast, right? So that's how I just caught it. And then I outlined it to show it was big. It was about 70 feet tall. So it either looks like an interdimensional, as you say, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, because they're not really. This was all Indian ground at one point, Indian land. But it's kind of like you can see almost a face, but an alien thing. But it's just big black mass. But it definitely looks like a human form. So I sent that to you, and it's just bizarre.
Yeah, and if you guys want to witness this photo yourself and check it out, so you'll see a post on We Are Paradox Media on Facebook, and it shows at first 3 different pictures of Boo, because he's got a cute new little form, and then the following ones are of the UFO crash site, and then as well the photos that he shows like on their own, and then one where he actually outlines the figure. And I remember, like, you first showed me these pictures, and I'm like, man, I'm really trying hard to see what you're trying to show me. But then once you outlined it, you could tell, like, there is some sort of blurring or whatnot. It kind of reminds you of, Predator. So the way Predator would show up, and it's kind of like heat waves or some sort of waves going on in the air.
Like a vibrational wave in the air or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm so glad you outlined it, because before I was like, man, I'm trying to see it, but I can't see it. But once you did, I just could not see it, not see it, But totally.
Yeah, because it's a little bit like if you take the top of it, like the human form, you can actually see it. And I sent 3 different ones. So one is the mass, and then a closer shot, it was almost you could see a face looking down, and then the bigger outline of the mass. And there's no other tree there. It was nothing that. So it's definitely something coming through a vortex, what I think.
Well, I just want to ask our listeners who are in the chat right now, because I can see your response. Have you ever seen land erosion where the tree remains in its space, yet the top of the tree is busted off like something hit it really hard? Because I've never seen that. That to me is an enigma. Like, this is unheard of. I could see land's eroding, the tree falls over. When it crashes, it might like spackle as far as like kind of little toothpicks or breakage or whatever happening from branches busting on the ground, but not the tops of trees breaking off. Like, that is so weird.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and it's like ripped. It's not like it's like something just went right across it, went straight down. It happened to all the trees all the way down.
and it's kind of strange because you do see the skid mark going on, as well as the tops of trees broken off. So I wonder if it's could be radiation sort of expulsion going on as it did hit and things are blowing off of this ship, or could it be some sort of force field, like shield, that a spacecraft might have, breaking the trees? Because you can see the skid mark. It's not that big, but could it be a force field that would have busted off the tops? There's so many questions when it comes to this sort of stuff. And they cleaned it up pretty quick too, didn't they?
Yeah, then, now everything's all cleared up. They took all the trees down, but it's still all closed in. The weird thing is now they got these giant rocks all surrounding it everywhere, and you can't even look in or get in. So they got these huge boulders around the front and the sides, and you can't see anything. Why would you put a boulder if you're just fixing the ground and the land?
Like I was saying earlier when we were on break, it could be due to radiation, because people that have seen these UFOs in close proximity looking up from the ground, so my husband has a cousin whose husband, like, she saw it. She didn't even go near the door. She left the door closed, but her husband opened the door, poked his head out, and looked straight up into this ship, and now he has all kinds of different cancers going on in the general upper area of his body. And she's thinking it has something to do with this because of radiation being expelled from this thing. So I'm wondering if they're putting the boulders up just to keep you guys from going in there so you don't get that sort of radiation poisoning. And at the same time, if there's something like that going on, just be honest with us and put up signs.
It just says it's all closed off. No entrance whatsoever, right? Nothing.
They should warn you, but they don't want to be honest. They want to hide stuff. People are going to end up getting sick, especially if I was a kid. I'd climb over those boulders and go play in the creek and do whatever, and then climb back out. For adults, it's a bit more difficult, but I don't know. They just need to be honest. Why do they keep hiding this from us? We know. I know. I've seen them. Have you seen other UFOs before this?
I just don't think, I think it was a UFO scout. I don't think it was actually a UFO. I think it was a smaller craft, like one of the drone crafts that crashed. But I couldn't get in there to find, anything. Maybe it was taken before that, or the beings that were coming through took the craft back through the vortex, because there was a giant hole, but there was nothing there. You know what I mean? That's all I could see when I looked down. Then it was all covered up 2 days later. It's just nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. Just from different things that I've heard from people in UFOs, and even that one guy that touched the UFO that one time in the middle of the trees, and it was like a pyramid shape with different things carved on it. He ended up getting sick too from radiation. So I'm just wondering, these aircraft do use radiation, other factors to actually power their vehicles. Sorry, the hellhound is going off again. I had to kick her out. She was attacking the other dog.
So great.
Yeah, I know. It's like, wow, this is meant for great airtime. Like, shh. Be quiet, Zoe. Damn it. But yeah, just because it's a smaller craft doesn't mean it doesn't have radioactivity along with it.
Well, the fact that the air was crackling and humming, that signaled me from before. I have seen enough photos and details of things that have crashed or UFO related, but it's all blocked off with giant boulders. If I can get a picture of that tomorrow, I'll send that to you too. It's just nuts.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that for sure.
Yeah, who covers up giant boulders 12 feet tall that you can't go in and look at anything?
Yeah, and I can see that around like a big waterway, like a river or something that kind of overflows sometimes or whatever, but that's pretty crazy going around a small creek, because this creek is pretty small. Nothing massive, so there's got to be something going on in the background there. Hello, Robert.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just freaky, and I thought I've never caught. I've caught different things, but never caught that close of an interdimensional being coming right where I was there. Right. So that's kind of odd too.
Yeah, and you were talking about hearing that humming and this interdimensional alien, and I was like, it could be that, or it could be radiation. So it just kind of makes me wonder, was it that portal opening up and that being coming through, or was it because of the radiation? Because at first you don't notice it, but after so many ohms, it really starts to affect the body and deteriorate it. So I'm just wondering if that's what you were hearing. And it's crazy you heard that smashing going through the bushes, which was that interdimensional critter, whether it was an alien or it looked like a freaking Bigfoot, could have even been the predator, who knows? But it was a very large being for sure.
Yeah, the more you look at it, the more you can see the detail of it. I try to enhance it the best. I'm going, holy cow, like how is that possible? And I'm here trying to take pictures, and all of a sudden I'm hearing a humming coming through, like the air is ripping apart, which is how the dimension opens, right? So how would that happen otherwise? And then it shows up, which is again strange. So just freaky. But the weird thing is it's ongoing. So I mean, now they have these giant boulders on, and I guess I went down. I was curious to try and go around it, and you can't because of the whole fence. Now there's on 24-hour security. And then, after I'd taken the photos, like the next day, there's this black car sitting there, but there's no license plates. They're all black, and there's like black SUVs.
Isn't that illegal?
Right? Looking like military, and these guys are in black suits, walking around black glasses, and it was like a movie. It was like,
is that the Men in Black?
Going,
holy shit!
And I'm going like, they're surveying the area, like walking around, like touching the air or something with some kind of tool. It was just, oh my god, it was like nuts. And I had to tell somebody that's what I told you. And I'm going, I can't go to the government because they all think I'm nuts. So I documented what I could, and it was just crazy,
So did you feel anything else, like when this creature was coming out of this interdimensional vortex or whatever? I know you heard the crashing through the bushes, but you couldn't see anything. Did anything else happen, or did you leave shortly after that?
Well, I felt kind of weak after I took the photos, but something literally was coming at me, like through that dimension thing. And then that was on my cell, and my cell just went nuts. It was trying to turn on and off when I did that. And then when I was kind of leaving, this guy shows up just out of nowhere. There was nobody there. And asked him, like, what am I doing? Why am I taking photos? And I questioned him. He didn't answer me for my questions, but he wanted to answer what I was doing, right? So it's like I can't explain it really.
Were they tall, really pale, blonde-headed dudes, or did they look
they were just
random?
Like tall, but they looked out of place, but looked like maybe somebody from a cop show or investigators, but they had black suits, but they were, it's outside, it's freezing out. Like it's like they didn't have your own jackets on, but they had these black cars. They were more like SUV black
and no
cars.
Gloves or anything. They're just out there like it doesn't matter.
They're just like it doesn't matter. But it didn't look right. It just looked like, well, this looks like government officials coming over, or look like, something from the White House. It was just, and I saw them, but they were watching me. And for the first couple of days, every time I went to work, somebody's like out in an SUV with their truck face on the, like just down the lane, watching all the people going out, watching me going out.
Yeah, since you went over there and took interest in it, they're like, we have to watch this guy, see if he's got any visitors coming in, see where he's going. Is he taking his... Well, you don't even need a camera anymore, just carrying your cell phone. But it's pretty interesting. They're trying to make you delete these photos. Why? This is just land erosion, right? What's the problem, mister?
I never gave him my camera, my phone, and I said, oh, well, I was just calling, so I pretend I was calling somebody.
Right.
And I said, no, I didn't. I wasn't taking pictures of it. I was just calling somebody on my phone because you know how you can take your phone and put it up by your ear and take shots.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't really happening that way. So it's just weird. It's just like it's never happened. But
That is
again,
so crazy.
I'm not looking for a spacecraft or anything like that coming down. It was just nuts. And then since then, it's just been. There was like a whole week there, 4 or 5 days, they just kept watching me. And no matter how cold it was, this SUV, black SUV, like a government thing, was just sitting out there by the lane watching us and watching me.
So did
But
you
they
talk
didn't come to my door.
Yeah, did you talk to any of your neighbors? And
Yeah, they said, well, how come that black SUV is out there watching us? Right? And I said, I don't know, it's related to the thing. And they said, oh, it's just like managers, surveyors. Well, surveyors would have signs on their front.
Probably just security.
And now they have security and I can't even get out there. All these giant boulders are blocked. And they set up like a kind of like a compound post. So you can't even, and there's like all these cameras watching everything you do when you walk by. There's no entrance, completely closed, get out, all this stuff, stay out, danger, all the crap.
Maybe since, they're like really on to you as far as taking pictures with your phone, maybe do another phone call, and as you're pulling up, have your head turned a certain way and take pictures as you're driving by of the security and of the site. And then if you can get out and take pictures, do, but it might be impossible.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, act like you're on the phone, you're pulling through, kind of slow to a halt up the road a little bit, and then run over and take pictures, or, you never know. If you're pulling up and you look like you're taking pictures, of course, they're going to be on you immediately, but if you look like you're just talking on your phone, and there's a thing you can do by pushing certain buttons on the side of your phone where you can take pictures. You don't even have to take the, or push the camera button. There's side buttons you can push.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I do that on my phone, too.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't really have bothered me as much if it was a crash or if they did say there's something crashed. And I asked them, well, something crashed, but, the trees crashed. Anytime I ask them, what crashed, they go, the trees crashed. How can all the trees crash at once down a hill? That doesn't really make any sense.
And if you guys look at the pictures that I posted that he shared on We Are Paradox Media on Facebook, these trees are not crashed down. Like, the tops of them are popped off, like something hit them. It's like pretty crazy. Yeah. It's not like they fell over and busted. The tops of these trees are busted off. And yes, there is lightning. Generally, it's just one tree. And you can tell, like, it's been burnt from high power energy or electricity or whatnot from this bolt. But it's not all the way across these trees. And it doesn't cause a skid mark down the lane. Like, I don't know. There's so many things about this, to me, that say this was a UFO crash, and you're saying one of these small things, like those mostly are what I've cited are these balls of light, but I have seen craft too, but at the same time, like, I don't know, they just have this energy and aura about them. It's pretty intriguing.
Well, I know, like, again, with the air humming and buzzing away, it sounds like electrical wires buzzing in the air. There's nothing there except woods, and trees and what left of trees and stuff and brush. So how could that be crackling in the air around it? And then the skid mark you could see all the way down. It took all the trees. So there was a lot of trees there. It wasn't like, unfortunately, it was covered over by snow after, like, to say if I was in mud marks, right, which I couldn't get. But it was all snow. So I got the trail before it snowed. And then it snowed, but then there was a big indentation at the end of the hole. So something hit it, and everybody saw it. It wasn't just me. So it wasn't like, I didn't make this up. But I showed it to a few people, and they said, you should post it. I said, well, no. I mean, who knows who's going to take it down or follow me. Because everybody knows I'm into UFOs as well, and I've had abductions, and mostly I stay with ghosts right now because that's more believable, but
yeah, and that's a bit easier and less hard to take than freaking aliens and being abducted and whatever else happens to you when you're abducted. I think ghosts are a lot easier to deal with. It's not as severe.
You can control ghosts because it's spiritual mostly, but you can't control a physical being that's an alien that could literally appears through walls in your room and everything else, right? You can't control that because we don't know. So that's a totally different ballgame. And I'm safer with ghosts and demons than actually aliens. But pretty freaky how I was able to capture that. And I did send that to you about a month ago, but I know you're busy and everybody was sick and stuff.
When was your first
Actually,
experience with aliens and
this is the thing, 'cause
UFOs?
I grew up in a haunted house years ago in Toronto, Canada. It was Rexdale was the suburb city, and oh man, the house was haunted. But there was again, there was interdimensional things going on, so it was very paranormal because things were going on through there. But I was actually between the ghosts and the demons and entities. There was this whole, which I didn't really believe, there was actually alien activity going through, or aliens coming through or visiting. So my brother saw it, so I saw it. For example, his room was about 10 feet off the ground. And he would literally start screaming in the middle of the night, saying, I saw this guy as a glowing, some gray guy looking at him through the window. And he literally have to be elevated up 10 feet. And looking at him with a gray, shaped body, and described the face and everything, just like an alien. He freaked right out. So ever since then, he had to put drapes up. I was looking at him with these huge eyes. So that was happening. And then in the basement, my dad, well, I know I've told you this before, he used to work for NASA. So he was into a lot of confidential, high secrecy stuff and documents. And he was working on UFO plans and things like that. And literally, the things would open and come into the room. Like the door wouldn't even open. The door would turn the knob, and then there would just be this thing coming through into the room. So
I wonder if his work on these UFOs and reverse engineering or whatever he was doing attracted them.
Yeah, jet engines and reverse engineering in Canada for a lot of the planes. And all this was top secret and was related to NASA. So he even had top secret blueprints, UFOs, all kinds of things that I saw when I was a kid, when I was 16, 17. And it was just bizarre. And it all said eyes only, top secret. It was just nuts. So even then, things were trying to come through then. He would be talking to things that weren't even in the room. That were like, who are you talking to? Oh, I'm just talking to him. There was no cell phones in those days. There was no phones, He didn't have a phone downstairs. So how could you be talking to somebody and you could hear this going like stuff like that, which is totally bizarre. And that's when I had, if you ever saw my show on Ghostly Encounters, there was this alien kind of being that would appear in my closet. My room was really bad. It was really hot, always freezing, always cold. And my closet had these doors where you would, the wooden doors you slide. So I was always, they're heavy doors. I'd close them and I go, oh man, I got to keep them closed. So I'd close them up at night around 1 in the morning. These little red eyes about 4 feet were just glowing. The door was open and they're glowing right at me. I go, oh crap. Oh man. I just ran away. It's like, oh man, it's just nuts. And then that was a lot of I'm pretty sure it was alien related because the entities just don't stand there and glow at you and make weird sounds and electrical energy comes from the door, right? It's just, electricity is buzzing. It just doesn't make sense. So that was my earlier experiences. Oh.
Yeah, as far as my early experiences, like mine were mostly paranormal. The very first one was supernatural. It was this crazy fireball that was intelligent. It had intelligent movement. But later on, there was these little gargoyle-looking things, which I think I call them minions. Then this one lady I told about them, she's like, "Oh yeah, those are called kobolds." But when I looked kobolds up online, they looked more like gnomes or whatever. So I'm like, nope, they're definitely not kobolds. They look more like the Kentucky Goblin, except for they don't
Oh yeah.
have glowing eyes. But like you were saying, like seeing these glowing eyes, my siblings, one room down, when they were staying over to visit, because they weren't with us all the time. Me and my brother had a different dad than our three older siblings, so we went different directions. But my brother stayed in that same room, and he reported the red glowing eyes through the window too. And I think that was something other than alien. Um, and I always believed in aliens and UFOs because my dad had a high belief in it. My mom was the supernatural side. My dad was the alien and UFO sort of guy. And so I did believe in them. But I didn't encounter a UFO or even see one until 2012. I thought I did as a
Yeah.
kid, and everybody pulled over on the side of this major highway that was going across the water. Everybody's out of their cars, their street lights shining down. It kind of reminds you of this scene on a movie where everybody's looking up like, "Oh, what is that?" Everybody thinks it's a UFO, and then it's three helicopters in formation flying over. So,
Oh wow.
yes, I almost thought I saw a UFO, but I didn't. But in 2012, I did, and it was in the orb shape, the round ball, fiery looking shape, and they are different colors, but the one that I've seen most is like an orangish red color. It almost looks like liquid fire. But I think they could
Wow.
be some sort of like spy craft or something that they take around, sort of like surveillance. And then
Wow.
I've also seen larger ships, and I have pictures of this too, where you see these choo 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 lines going down to Earth, and they're in different directions. It's not just straight down; it's this way and that, and straight down. And uh, I think they're kind of seeding or putting those little spy bots out, but it's pretty interesting. It's like, what the heck are they doing?
Wow.
But I do believe.
Bizarre. Yeah, it's like I don't know. I mean, I grew up like again. I had all this happen to me when I was young, so I didn't know what was going on. I mean, there wasn't everybody had talked about with UFOs in those days, and even ghosts. People thought you're crazy in the '70s. I couldn't really talk about it, but I could experience it. At the time, all you had were those cameras. You know, you have film and it would come out and you press it, instant camera, and we hope it would show up. Those are the kind of things we had. There was no
Polaroid.
technology. And yeah, Polaroid, you couldn't have anything that back then. So it was hard to document stuff. I mean, I had analog tapes and recordings, and I could record all kinds of stuff, and I got really good with EVPs and electronic voice phenomenal. Um, I eventually ended up being a sound engineer and into sound. So that's how I got really into the sound aspect of things and analyzing, and it would always happen in the house. But there was a difference definitely between alien activity and ghost activity because the ripping of the air, the tearing, the whole room lighting up, like sound, electricity, all that stuff, was different from just ghosts. Um, and at the time, we had Geiger counters that would measure uh, the energy and
That's what you
electromagnetic
need to
fields.
take to that site too. Even if you just drive by, take your Geiger counter and see what it says. Because Geiger counters actually pick up on radioactivity, correct?
Yes. Well, I had an ohmmeter. I had other things that it would pick up, and it was just flying off the scale. Um, that site, and it's on the rocks too. You can't even touch it. So
Did you
it's
get
just
it
humming.
checked at all? If not, I would say if it takes a while to get in for an appointment, set one, and then plan to go by there right before your appointment and see how high is your radiation or whatever they might pick up in your system to see if there is actually something there that could be affecting you. Because, like you said, after you went up there and you took those pictures, you felt really weak. And so that kind of worries me. I'm like, holy crap, did he just get a major dose of radiation? Like, that's pretty
Well, I mean,
scary.
I had rubber boots on. I mean, I wasn't really. I felt really weak, but I wasn't sick. I mean, I wasn't like there was something going through me. I mean, I was outside, but again, I felt this whole pressure in my head. It was like something coming into your. You know how the whole energy changes around you? It fluctuates when there's not just ghosts but aliens. It's heightened. Everything is heightened, and you just get this whole head aching and this pressure on your brain. It all changes. So that's what I was getting. It's just like I didn't want to stay there long, and then I didn't know. I figured, you know, I was just, you know, taking photos of a nice, beautiful day of a UFO crash. You know, that's what I was doing. Like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, and I kind of want to look at those pictures closer, too. I don't know, whoever was in charge of that came in, took the craft out really quick, like, before anybody could really get there, or, I don't know. Was there any helicopters or anything involved?
Yeah, there was for, like, even the next day, and that night I heard, after that crash, or the lights, I heard helicopters and lightning going around the air, and then there has been a lot of black marking helicopters within the last 2 weeks, more so after Christmas. But it's really, erosion doesn't have that much fenced off if you have erosion. You don't need that
they don't
much
even
security.
do anything, man. If they were, like, when I lived in Tween Lakes, they would have had everything cordoned off, and it would have looked like a freaking military installation. They don't really give a fuck about that stuff. This is something else.
No, they sent out a letter about 3 days later saying, well, it's just we're doing work on erosion. Come on. The whole area, the whole trees are all eroded. There's no way. Land erosion, and it's not that high. It's maybe, 50 feet from the actual bottom of the creek to the top, maybe 100 feet. But
yeah,
like there was nothing going on. I've been here for 20 years, and nothing was going on. So how does that happen, right?
Yeah, this is a little stream. This isn't a big flowing river. There was no overflow. There was nothing like that. I don't know. I just think they hope for people to be ignorant about it and not look anymore because everybody's like, oh, I got to watch my favorite show or whatever else they're doing in their household. A lot of people don't go outside anymore unless they have to go to work or the store or whatever. When they were saying you all have to stay inside, I'm like, guess what? I don't live right next door to somebody, so I'm going to go out in my yard and I'm going to do my garden, grow my weed, whatever else I need to do. Like, I'm going outside. You're not keeping me inside. There's no reason unless it's in the air. Have you seen people driving around with their masks on? Like, that to me is crazy. I caught myself doing it once. I was just in a hurry, but...
I know. You're in your car. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, exactly. They go, nothing to see. The giant boulders. Come on. And not just one. There's like a whole stack of them like 5 feet high. 5 of them up to 15, 20 feet up.
Holy crap.
And it looks like a fort.
That's dangerous, really.
Yeah, but there's tractors holding them all around, right? So I'm going to try and get photos tomorrow. See if I can shoot around it to see if I can climb up there and see what's going on. Like, that'd be amazing.
Ooh, do you have a drone?
No, I don't. I think my friend does in the way, but
you should call your friend and see, like, if I can't get pictures for some reason or another, could you fly your drone? Let's see what happens. It might get shot down, so hopefully it's not an expensive one, but tell him to bring his cheapest market drone. Let's try to fly it over, because just in case it gets shot down, we don't want him to have a major loss. But I definitely want to see what the fuck is going on there, because something is happening, and they're trying to hide it.
Oh, I know, and the city isn't even talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody said, like, there's an update, this is what happened. Like, you live right there, and it's right in your backyard, and they don't even want to tell you what went on, So, like, obviously this is covered up. And then the military's showing up, and then these all black military. You can tell they're military vans. You can tell the difference, and they don't want to talk to you, and they're all looking at you, like, as soon as you look at them, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, oh, my God. So, yeah, there's something going on.
They're all...
So I really wanted to share that experience. Because a lot of people now, even the media, don't want to talk about UFOs. They'll talk about ghosts, but they don't want to talk about it. Like, even that show, Paranormal on Camera, I've contacted them, or Paranormal Caught on Camera, and they go, well, no, we can't talk about UFOs now. We can only talk about ghosts. So now you can't even send stuff. And
seriously? Because most of their stuff was UFOs, so they put the kibosh on that, because I kind of binge watched that and went through all of them, and there's so many different UFO things. Some things I'd never seen, like the space worm sort of thing. That's really freaking freaky to me.
Yeah, but they're trying to, like, now just change it to ghosts because somebody said something, and they're, like, trying to change the content. If you watch the new ones, there's hardly anything on UFOs now.
It's like somebody... government.
Yeah. So, it's definitely intriguing. People want to know. And then they started as a free speech thing. And now it's like you try and send a submission, it gets automatically canceled if it's UFO related. So I tried to send my pictures. Oh no, we can't use that. It's not good enough. It's not UFO related. It's only a bunch of trees. So now they're trying to debunk it. You know, and they're going, come on, I know what I saw. I know what it is.
I've seen stories on there with less pictures than what you have. Give me a break.
Yeah. That was the response. So they said, well, if you got more ghost photos, we'll take it, or ghost video, but we don't want that.
You're like, how about this burping, farting, alcoholic fucking doll here? What do you think about that one?
Well, I'm trying to give it to do a proper show, either with Netflix or, you know, a series who would dedicate, not just a minute or something. Because I don't know. I didn't try sending it to them. I don't think they'd be interested, but I want to give credit to Boo to be on like a better show about everything what he does, right? And actually do an investigation with him and with a ghost box, and we film it live and see if he can do more stuff. It's my attempt
awesome.
to have somebody have other people there who can maybe like really a good, like Jane Harris or somebody, a really good medium who can pick up his energy and find out what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. And if you can't get on Netflix or other places like that, I know Amazon Prime is picking up all kinds of shows. And I saw somebody complaining recently. They're like, wow, how can this even be a show? Like, these guys really suck. This is the most horrible production I've ever seen. But I know I've seen what you guys have done in the past. And it's very entertaining. I love having not just the paranormal, but humor involved. I love humor with paranormal. I think it has the best outcome. But yeah, I think you guys can do a really good job with it. So if you can't get through to Netflix or anyone else, definitely look up Amazon Prime.
What's it called? Amazon Prime?
Amazon.
EMMA?
Yeah, AMAZON, Amazon Prime.
Oh, Amazon Prime. Okay, yeah. I haven't tried it because, I mean, I was waiting. And then, you know, it's weird. If you see my videos, they're better than anything on TV. And it's funny. It's haunted. It's paranormal. And this is all live happening. And I just, you know, did it as live as it happened. And people are going, wow, that was so amazing how you did that. And I go, that just happened. I didn't even edit it.
Yeah, that was not special effects or anything like that.
On television.
Yeah, not special effects or anything like that. That's like all natural. I didn't do nothing to it.
It was like really real reality live, and I'm like, whoa! I was like, then people are just drooling over, going, "This is amazing, better than I've seen on TV."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Netflix don't pick you up, definitely look at Amazon Prime. You can definitely get in there, and then you guys can make some money off of doing this, and as well as on YouTube and other places. Like, if you have advertisements, which I hate advertisements, but if you do that, you can make money as well. Every little bit counts, especially in this age and time when it's hard to make money because everything basically is shut down for the most part as far as what we're trying to do paranormally. Like, Walmart's open, everybody's running around without masks on and stuff, and it's just like a free-for-all. Except for up there where you're at, it's just total lockdown. I don't know, it's so crazy how things are so diverse.
That's the thing, the question I have. How can everything be open there and nothing here? So if you are vaccinated to go to the States, you can go anywhere and go to bars, there, restaurants, sports events, but you can't do anything here, but you have to be vaccinated. So they lock you down and they blame you like you're a sheep, you're censored, you're like the bad person, the bad sheep of the family, you're not vaccinated. Like, who cares? You know, I don't care.
You're not vaccinated. Blah.
Yeah. The unvaxxed, well, you know, will rule the world, I think.
Oh, they're so anti-non-vaxxer. They're like, you guys are causing all the problems. No, we're not. It's called COVID, man. It has nothing to do with us. And like you said, everybody's getting sick, even people that are vaccinated. How is it always put on us that don't get vaccinated? How does that make sense? But
yeah, and the vaccinated are traveling, so how are we giving it to them if they're the only ones allowed to be traveling?
Yeah, when I was flying to California to go to my grandpa's funeral, I had this really awesome mask. It's actually for welders, but it keeps every little thing out. And you see these major masks when people go into places with black mold and other things happening. And I tried to wear that on the plane. They're like, we're sorry, you can't wear that because the air doesn't get into you, but the air that you're breathing out gets out. So here, put on this little paper thing. Like, oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you're breathing everybody else's stuff in, so
Yeah.
how does that help?
Yeah. Oh.
It's not even, it's even weirder, those masks are not even carbon fiber, so it's not even nothing attaching to that mask, because normally you would have a mask and you'd see dirt on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's nothing there, so there's like just air's going in and out, your virus going in and out, everybody's blowing on it, and there's nothing. Look at your mask, it's perfectly clear.
It's like,
So how
oh,
does that
it's not
happen?
fair.
Really,
Yeah, it's like I have this really nice mask, so I have a cheat code. No, I'm just taking care of myself because I don't want to breathe in all these particulates and stuff. Oh, well, that's not fair because you're breathing out your air. Well, I'm pretty sure if it's filtered going in, it's filtered going out. But there are the cloth ones where you could do the lead inserts or whatever it is. Coal? Could be coal.
Yeah.
And it filters out everything. And I had those at first as well, but I mean, I don't know. They're all into the whole, surgical mask looking things that really don't protect against COVID. It's just kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, we do have to go to our second music break. We have Hosni Brox again from Jamaica, aka the Bronx, with Free Child and Strong Life. And then we have King Cinnamon from Biafra, Nigeria. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Who decided this life for?
funky on the beat.
Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I said you wine your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Mukomukeji, go bere muketa. Oya mukomukeji, oya bere muketa. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy kosi kosi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy turn him pussy, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy and his baby, them dey for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl dey holla. Now daddy begin the open the shirt collar. Now something come out, daddy begin the suck am. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I see the wine your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Kissy, kissy, I'm money, edge. Daddy saucy, saucy, I'm money, edge. Daddy kosi, kosi, I'm money, edge. Daddy come here, kosi, I'm money, edge. Daddy contact, I'm money, edge. Daddy comfort, daddy consist, I'm money, edge. Daddy can't eat. Daddy 120, I'm money, edge. Daddy 18. Daddy 240, I'm money, edge. Daddy 360. Daddy and the baby, them there for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl the holla. Daddy begin the open the shirt collar. I come to come, daddy begin the sucker. Daddy move, echo, I'm on the pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, I'm on the fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, I'm on the ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, I'm on the ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama, 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 Imarama.
Oh yeah, it's funky on the beat.
Babylon to make you suffer. Babylon to make you suffer. Babylon to make you suffer. What the desire? Young life. We are ready to fight. Hard life for my people. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know how to fight. 'Cause my people suffer. What do you want, Babylon? I don't understand why this world is so strange, strange with my people. I don't know how to fight, but if we are together, it will work. It will work. Babylon no have no heart. 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 My people, you have to survive. Yeah, you must rebuild you and make your own way. You must not give up. The beginning of the revolt will start. We need to follow our true destiny. Whoa, yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. The obstacle we face, yeah, is Babylon. The world is a good place, yeah, for our freedom. You take everything, you don't breathe anything, yeah, yeah. Young life, old anti-dread. We must believe in a magical, powerful force that unite us, and not just these people stay speechless again. We don't want to talk, no, it's time to fight, yeah. We start talking. Babylon make you suffer. 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 What the desire? Young life. We are ready to fight.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. This evening we have Mr. Patrick Cross on, and we're talking about Boo, ghosts, as well as interdimensional aliens and UFO crashes. And now we're going on to the realm of a darker side. So if you have any protective stones, I just burned some Palo Santo. If you have sage, Palo Santo, whatever you need to burn, because we've had shows in the past where people have actually been physically affected. So, if you have a form of protection or a faith that you need to call on, please do it now. Welcome back, Patrick, and thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, for sure. On our break there, I did send you the video of the flying saucer.
Oh, shit.
With Boo. So if you, it's funny and paranormal, but it's funny and comedy at the same time because it all happened live. If you see that, It's pretty funny. You can post it. I just have to laugh because it all happened. And Boo said he did it. We have the recording of it with the waitresses. Right there drinking a beer.
That looks awesome. The Flying Saucer restaurant. Holy shnikes. Do they have good food?
Yeah, it's amazing food. Yeah, it's all like, it is built on an actual UFO landing site from 1974 in the shape of a UFO, believe it or not. And it has its own energy and radiation around it. It's all covered with lead in the back to protect it.
Did you just say there's lead in the back?
Well, they have to, for some reason, the way they built it, they covered up the radiation, believe it or not. And they'll never tell you why, but I know the whole story back from the 80s. And the people still hear a humming and a radiation levels all around the back, and it's all covered with lead. And it's built into a shape of an actual UFO landing ship, a real ship. And they serve amazing food. It's all round. And there is these interdimensional doors that open and close all the time, and they're invisible. So, for example, you order your food, the waitress comes to you with the food, then she goes back and smashes right into an invisible door. And there's nothing there.
You should have filmed that. I want to see that.
Yeah, I got pictures of the door opening, and there's nothing there. It's this glass door. It just opens in the middle of nowhere.
You just hear it go goosh, goosh, or whatever, but you don't see it.
If you sit there long enough, like the door opens, like you walk and smack right into the door. It's like, oh my God, there's nothing there. I've seen it happen many times. It's just like bizarre. And it's haunted too. So anyway, as I was saying earlier, we went there not only for the hauntings, but to show my friend and bring Boo, see what happened. And then Boo turned on all fire alarms. And then the police and the fire guys come in, and they smash into other dimensional doors. They can't go, how come we can't get into the room? There's nothing here. And it's invisible. They're knocking on an invisible door that's nothing there.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. It's like somebody should film this. Like I was filming it. It's like you could see it in the clock. And they're looking, shaking their heads on the video that I sent you. It's like, oh my God, this should be on TV.
Yeah, and it's funny how everybody was laughing about it. Generally, people would be panicking, but luckily these people seem to be open-minded. But yeah,
they're trying to be serious and thinking, well, who's at the alarm? None of the alarms were touched. And everybody goes looking at, we point at Boo, and that's why it's funny. There's this little doll looking at you, and it's all like cute, and he's going, I did it, because he looks very mischievous. It's like hilarious.
You would think he'd be like, I did it, but he's like, I did it.
Okay, and another cool thing, I had to mention this for people who are into entities. I think Boo is a part alien or an alien in the form of a guy, a man, into the doll. Now, why do I think that? Because when we shot Boo by the alien, there's an alien on the wall, right? An actual, like, plastic alien guy or head. There's this little alien guy coming out of Boo. It's just bizarre. And I'm going, whoa, I gotta send you that picture. Yeah, and it's like this, and it's like a little alien guy, like reptilian, right behind Boo, sitting on the same, beside his chair. And I'm going, holy cow. I tried sending this to the Paranormal caught on camera, and they go, well, we can't accept aliens anymore or UFOs because it's too real for us. We have to put on something else.
Yeah, it's really because the government doesn't want you showing this shit anymore. There's so many different things like the space worms and space jellyfish and other things like that going on. They're like, nope, you can't show this stuff anymore because people are starting to ask questions. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I caught that when we're sitting at the restaurant. And holy cow, we showed it at the restaurant, and they go, whoa, that's an alien, and you can see it clear. I'll send it to you after the show. It's totally good. You can post it. It's like nuts. It's on my Facebook.
Well, that'd be awesome.
People are not picking it up. And I'm telling you, it's like yelling at somebody's ear, and they're not listening. Going, I'm going to listen to, Michael Jackson instead or something. You know what I mean? They don't care. It's all real stuff, people. The real thing.
Definitely. Oh, so we were going to talk about demons and dark entities and such, and you, like some of your first experiences as a kid and growing up were with these darker entities. So can you tell us your first encounter with these beings and what exactly happened? It
all started in my house. I grew up in Toronto again, as I said, and it's been featured on many TV shows, including the main documentary, if you want to watch it. It's on ghostly encounters. They're very cool. It's really well done, I have to say. So it's all about me growing up and all this demon and ghost stuff and happening and entities. And the one thing that stood out was not only was my house haunted with ghosts, there was maybe about 13 of them all over the place. The land was Indian land, Indian ground. And when they built the whole area and they built the houses, they just demolished all the graves of the Indians and then just wiped out everything and put all the houses on. Great. That's not good. So the house was haunted because it was a murder house. And there was a guy, as the house was half built, this guy was, I guess, dating the daughter of the family of the house there. And the family, the parents didn't like this kid, this guy. I guess he was 17 or 18. His name was, what's his name? I have to think of it. Anyway, it was a long time ago in the 70s. And Barrett, yeah, it was Barrett. It was Greg Barrett, this guy. And he became mental because the family just said, we don't want to see you and have with our daughter. We want to see you. The guy was kind of mental then. Well, if I can't have the daughter, he can't have anyone, right? So he came back. The story goes, and he attacked the parents. He killed the father, chopped him up, chopped with an axe. He killed the mother, chopped her head off with an axe. Then he killed the girlfriend and chopped her right in half with the axe.
Yeah, and that's the part I don't understand. I can understand if you're feeling like that, you're feeling upset against the parents, killing them, but there's been so many different cases where not only do they kill the parents and the people that were against them, but they end up killing their love too. It's so weird.
So I guess the police came and he said he did it, and then he tried to hide a lot of the body parts, and they never found the rest of the body parts. They found some of the body parts, not all of them. So what he did, I guess, in the next couple of days, because he did kind of like hid it all, eventually they found that, he confessed, and they went and they knew he did it, but they never found a lot of the body parts. So he buried him around the house and in the attic. And I guess they found the father. They didn't find half the mother and half of the daughter. They never found the head. Believe it or not, they had of the mother. So my dad ends up. They had to sell the house. Of course, the house was then taken over. The kid went to jail, and he went to jail for life. And this was all in the news. Lo and behold, my dad comes along, and in those days, you couldn't disclose really what was happening or murders or anything. So the real estate guy goes, it was cheaper than most, because in those days, houses were maybe $50,000, and was going, I guess, for $40,000. My dad, how come this house is so cheap? And I go, well, it's in really built-up area. It's brand new.
The family just wanted to sell it fast.
Yeah, and the family moved out, and nothing happened. And I said, a little bit of a murder happened in the house, but nothing bad, nothing real. Yeah, it was
just
all
a little bit of one.
I saw it, right? All in the news and everything. So my dad goes, great, I bought this house. It's great. She's bragging about it all. And it gets built, the rest of it. He didn't care about it. He goes, I've seen murders. I've been in the war. I don't care. I've seen men get killed. No, but it doesn't bother me. So in those days, you didn't have to disclose anything. So who cares, right? And he went along and did this. And then shortly after, I guess about a couple of months later, it started happening. Because I was getting older then. I think I was, 12, 13 then. And I would just start picking up on stuff happening, walking around. Like I could see, okay, there's air. There's things going on. I hear breathing. There's whispering. This isn't right. And I'm a kid. I'm trying to figure this out. And I'm watching TV, and the TV's going off. Doors are opening by themselves, and knobs are opening. I'm sitting on the couch eating popcorn. Hearing voices. I'm watching how they have the old carpets with the kind of furry carpets back then.
Yes.
The furry rugs. And the rug was literally having impressions on the rug. It's like something walking right past me on the rug. I don't know what they were called back then. Fur rugs or something
shag
weird.
Carpet.
Shag, yeah, shag. So you can make an impression on it, right? And there's there was nothing there. I'm like, whoa, that's getting weirder. So my dad was very temperamental, and he was also a Bible thumper. So he didn't believe in ghosts and demons and anything. And I goes, oh, you talk about that, you're against God, and you're going to go to hell if you talk about demons, boy, and all this stuff, right? So I got pretty well whipped up lots of times, and hit with a belt and everything, because if I talked about ghosts and everything. and he
Damn it.
locked me in the closet, stuff
Oh
like
my
that.
God!
So,
Yeah, that's not
yeah,
bad.
I was very,
That's pretty
very
Christian.
abusive, including my brother was abused too. Yet my dad would never disclose he saw things, so he would lock the door in his bedroom on the end of the hall, and I'm in the end of the hall, perfectly in line with anything coming down the hall, and I'd swear I'd see these black figures, just like a giant robe with some black figure guy in a robe walking down the hall coming for me. Go, shit, and I was freaking out. And I'd hear voices and stuff and scratching on the walls, and I literally remember this hand, like it was a skeleton hand, just literally scratching down a wall like on a chalkboard.
Oh, I hate
coming
that.
down the wall, coming down the hall, like, oh my God, I like literally freaked, and it disappeared right in front of me, like a poof, right in front of me, all black little particles in the air, just right in front of my bedroom. So this went on, and it got worse because between my dad arguing and fighting and being abusive, I guess that the negativity didn't help either, and we were fighting all the time.
Yes, feeding it.
The organ would actually turn on, would be playing by itself. You know how one of those rhythmic organs you play?
Yeah.
Well, the power was off, and the thing would be playing all this weird music. And there'd be images around the organ swirling up into the ceiling. And I'm going, holy cow. And, I thought I was on drugs. I wasn't even doing drugs then. I was too young. I didn't know what this was going on. I didn't do anything, really. Just a kid. So then I'd start seeing the walls pulsing in and out. Like how the movie Poltergeist? And something crawling up the ceiling like some giant spider with no head, just crawling up the ceiling and into the walls, and the walls would be pumping out and pumping in and pumping out, and I'm going, oh my God, and heaving in and heaving out. That, and this was before anything was even documented on television, right? Nobody would believe me. And I told all this to producers, and that's how it got shown on television, how these things were actually happening. So I got interviewed for Poltergeist and stuff like that. Well, how did this happen? And this is how it happened. Because nobody knew. They thought it was special effects, but this is actually what really happened. Being attacked by something, entities and demons and stuff like that, and the walls are bleeding. Start blood coming down, and we'd open a cupboard door, and you could see blood dripping off the cupboard door. And it would just solidify as kind of like a red sugary crystal. And my mother always thought it was strawberries or something. And I'm going, I didn't know this at the time, but blood
Jack, you put these preserves on the cabinet.
Yeah, blood turns into sugar, right? I didn't know this, and it was on the counter dripping in the cupboards. So that went on, and then the worst thing was, me and my brother got fed up with all this stuff, and we heard about the murders and the bodies, and we were sure there were body parts buried around the house. Because I'd hear screams in the basement.
Oh, yeah, didn't you guys start digging around and stuff, you and your brother?
Yeah, so
holy shit.
I heard screams in the basement, like literally at night, screeching and screaming of a woman screaming and something chopping it up.
Oh, my gosh.
And a case being pulled across like a giant, trunk.
Mm-hmm.
I go down, there's nothing there. My dad goes, I don't hear anything, you're nuts. So me and my brother, one weekend, we got really brave. And we decided, okay, that's it. I know where the body parts are. They're all around the house. They're in the back, in the garden, everything else. So we started digging on my side of the house, where my bedroom was opposite that, because the wall was always freezing cold. It could be 90 degrees. It was freezing cold, like 40 degrees in there. And we got brave. We had 200 kids helping us.
Holy shit! That's a lot of freaking kids.
Digging on the side of the wall. Huh?
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah, so there's 4 of us. We're all digging, because my parents will go away for the weekends and leave us. And it got down about, I think, maybe 2.5, 3 feet. And all of a sudden, there's a clunk. We had all this dirt piled up. And you see this big bag. It was all plastic bag, just clunk, bang, couldn't push on it, and it was all wrapped with an old rope. A big bag, and it was just all red and bloody and blood in it. That's it. Oh my God! We found, and all you could see was half a face looking up, and we literally freaked inside the bag. Right, it was all wrapped and all wet and moist and blood everywhere in it.
Yeah, that's bad.
And we go, oh fuck! Now what do we do? So, the other kids run away, and they leave us to go put it all back. And I go, great. Because if we call the police, my dad would be accessory to murder, right? Because I go, now what are we going to do?
I don't know. It's kind of a thought because, you know, you automatically kind of go to that sometimes, but you guys didn't live there in a long enough period of time for that body to decompose to that certain extent.
Right, but the whole point was that we did tell him my dad was free. One, maybe he would be arrested thinking that he did it, and then we find these bodies. So it wasn't really a good idea. We didn't know what to do. So we just piled up all the dirt and get it, put it back on. I go, great, that didn't help. And nobody would believe us. So to this day, the bodies are still there. And it's like, then my dad was cleaning out the attic about a couple weeks later, you know, cleaning up to get ready. He found a severed hand up there with, you know, a couple dead raccoons. He goes, oh, it's just a hand. He throws it away.
It's just a hand.
And he goes, oh, well, so he didn't even know, he didn't even bother. It's somebody's murdered.
Who says that? Oh, it's just a hand.
Yeah, he leaves it. It's probably still there. So, oh my God. I mean, it's just like, I was so glad to leave when I finally got out of there because there's so many things going on. The worst thing was, of course, every night I was visited by either an alien or I think it was an entity myself because the demon activity was going on and on and on. I had these heavy doors that you slide back and forth, the wooden doors in the old days, and it was pretty hard to push. You could literally have to close it with two hands. And my bed would be facing the door. So I go to bed and I close it, make sure it was all closed, no problem. All of a sudden I'd wake up around 1 in the morning and see these beady little red eyes, just 4 feet tall, just standing, looking at you. Oh, like a huge pitch black figure just looking at you, about 4 feet tall. And it was just nuts. And all the smoke and everything was coming out of the closet. And I freaked and screamed again. My dad running in, what the hell's wrong with you? So he never believed us. And then I looked at it. He goes, looks in the door, gets a flashlight, turns the light. There's nothing there. He goes, stop waking me up and stop doing these stupid things. You know how their parents are. So that went on for a long time. And I literally put rocks in front of the door. So
that's how my grandparents were. Just go to sleep. There's nothing happening. I'm like, I know, you know, something's happening.
Went on for a while. And the only way I stopped it was like I had to literally bolt the door. That's it. I'm going to bolt the thing stupid. I'm going to lock it up and put rocks around it. And then that didn't really work because now the sheets were coming off my bed at night. I'd be sleeping and the whole things are coming off. And I literally put rocks on the sheets to stop the rock from I had a whole bed was full of rocks because all the ghosts are pulling all the sheets down. So then I would sit, you know, my room was always cold anyways. And I would wake up and I hear like birds in a forest and smell this really rotten smell like a swamp. It was like all misty and you hear crickets and stuff in my room.
Ew.
And a shag carpet. And I look down, I put my feet down and it's full of water.
Yeah, you're in the swamp now.
Down, and I'm stepping on like a whole landmass of a swamp in my bedroom.
Holy shit.
And I'm going, oh my God. You know, my whole foot was just like as if we're stepping in a swamp. And then my foot was totally soaked. And there's like you're sitting on a cold, mossy landmass of a swamp. Put my other foot down and it totally disappears. Nothing is there. I literally freaked, but my foot is all wet. These are the things that was happening in my house. Like, oh my God, somebody's got to do something with this.
So you had these different experiences, but did you ever encounter an entity? I know you talked about the guy in the robe and stuff, but was there more to it than that?
Well, again, like the things that crawling up the walls and screeching, and this kind of like half demon entity thing that you maybe see on Poltergeist, with half spider, half person, that freaked the heck out of me because it was pure white. I'm like a gray ash color. And that was demon. And it would just be like looking at you and then just crawl away and run into the ceiling from the wall. It was just, and hands would come out of the wall and, you know, all bloody and just go back in. And I hear me screeching and crying and everything. So, that was enough to take for like the longest time. And I had to bring in, well, when my parents were there, I literally had to start looking for people like psychics to figure all this out. And I had a priest come in and he ran out because he freaked out, saw stuff. He tried to bless the house. And I remember like he came in, he was he was on the stairs and he almost got pushed off the stairs and something just said, "Get out!" This huge black figure appeared and was almost pushing him right off the railing on the top of the stairs. And he just like turned white as a ghost and literally, "I'm not out of here. I'm not doing this." This is a priest from our church.
Yeah,
So
a lot of these guys
either.
have like certain training, but unless you actually go to the priesthood of which you really learn these things, you're not quite prepared. And it's crazy because the last couple of years, due to all the darkness that's going on in the world, and they can't even keep up with this whole demonic issue anymore, they're actually releasing these prayers for people to do their own sort of exorcisms and such. So it's kind of interesting. You don't have to be a priest anymore, and they're doing it in different languages. Like, hopefully these people can handle it. If not, then I guess we'll come in. But so many priests these days are still like, nope, ain't gonna touch it with a 10-foot pole. Hope you can take care of it yourself.
So,
it's just pretty crazy.
And, I'd see all this right in front of me, being pushed. The guy's a priest with a cross and everything, and it's silver, literally being almost pushed and held over the railing from this entity, this big black figure on top of the stairs. And it was huge. It was about 8 feet tall. And it freaked out me more than him. I mean, probably more him than me, because I was kind of used to all the demon stuff going on anyways. And the thing just like looked at, like, there's no face. It's a hollow face. It looks like a Grim Reaper with a huge, cloak, right? All black. And a robe. Oh my God. Freaked the heck out of me. I wish this was on television.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nuts. Just nuts. So anyway, like, other things happened, but I couldn't keep up, and just finally I left the house, and things to this day are still going on there. And I think there's been 7 families gone through that house so far.
Oh, so your family doesn't live there anymore?
No, my father moved out, and he sold the house years later, in I think the 80s something.
Yeah, he probably made an excuse like, we don't need that much room anymore because we're, a single unit family now.
Downsizing and kicking me out. I'll go, well, I'm okay. I'm just downsizing. You can get out and find your own place. I go, great. That's what parents did in those days. I don't even know if they do that now, but
yeah, kick you out of the nest.
Not good. So I was also developing my psychic abilities and, confronting my ghosts and energies and their ghost demons and stuff. And it's always followed me. Things have always been really psychic. So, I guess probably the worst of it was it's died down for a while, because when you go to school, you kind of and you get into life, you forget about your psychic abilities, your openness, right? So you start worrying about life and bills and school and dating and drinking and all that stuff. And
all that fun stuff.
Your whole ability changes until I got older again, and then I was working in television and working in media and working in sound. And I started experimenting with sound again and recording, because now the stuff was available, microphones and EVPs and all that stuff. So I finally got into that. But things were always following me. I always had more stuff, like maybe mild.
Did you feel like you've been stalked? I don't know. Like me, as a kid, I saw these dark entities, and then throughout my teenager and latter years, there was shadow people stalking me. And then, especially they peaked up when my husband went to the ICU with COVID. The very first night when he said, well, I'm going to go on the tube now. And I was like, no, don't do it. But he had to, because had he not, he would have died, because he couldn't breathe. And so I'm just sitting there on my bed, and I'm crying, and all of a sudden, this is the weirdest shadow person I've ever seen. So any other shadow person I've seen before is always like darting back and forth, doing different things, or they're really tall and just standing there like looking over you, trying to threaten you, or different things like that. Well, this one seemed like it was genuinely concerned about me. Like, I'm sitting there on the side of my bed, and it's peeking around. It's like, are you okay? Like, looking around the side of my body at my face, like, are you okay? And I'm like, what sort of shadow person does this? But then I do believe that spirits or entities can draw off of different power, and we keep most of our lights off because we're trying to conserve energy, because I can't pay bills like it was before Vern went away. But so it's like looking at me like, are you okay? Yeah. And I was like, don't fuck with me right now. I am not in the mood to deal with your shit. And I didn't pick up on that. Like, I thought about it afterwards several times. I still do today, but it was like, at first I was like, don't fuck with me. I have no time to deal with this. No time for your fucking shenanigans. I'm not afraid of you. Just go away. And it never bothered me again. But then I thought back on it and I was like, man, I kind of feel bad because this thing seemed like genuinely concerned about me. Like, are you okay? So that was kind of different for me as far as encountering a shadow person. Like, this thing was like, are you okay? Checking up on me. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, it all takes. Well, again, I probably had that too. Shadow people and things in my house, but there was a mixture. There was a big mixture going on there because, between the aliens and mostly UFOs and demons coming in and out, and because the house was a murder site, I think all that negativity and murder and all that stuff caused it. And the bodies were still there, just reaching out to try and get help. So I think that's what was happening.
And I'm kind of interested in this murder site too. A lot of places like the Amityville house and the Conjure house and stuff like that, like, family's perfectly happy, all of a sudden this person becomes possessed and kills their whole freaking family. Like, what exactly happened there? It was a person that came in from the outside that killed the whole family? Kind of like the Axe murder house? Or is this... How exactly did that happen? Did you find out?
Well, the guy that killed the family was like a boyfriend of the girl. So he basically went to jail.
Yeah.
He went to jail for life. I think he's still in jail, but I
shit! I was about to say I think I saw that.
It was in the news. It went all across Canada. But anyway, he did that. It just so happened to be, it was my house, and of course the street was haunted anyways. Because the weirdest thing about my street, this is even weirder, is that every house somebody died all the way down the street.
Mm-hmm.
In the course of like 2 years. It was just nuts. Somebody from the family went ping, 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 all the way down. Like the mother died from one, another one died of tragic accident, another one was killed. Like every house on the whole street. There's maybe 40 houses, just nuts.
And you also said in the beginning of this that these houses are built on Native American burial land.
Yeah, it was all wiped out from the Native American land.
Yeah,
so it was all owned by the Indians. They wiped them out.
Don't do
it was all burial ground.
Yeah, if you guys are about to build property on a certain land, make sure it's not burial land or...
So it was sacred ground, and they got, this is what I'm sure why it happened. Everybody got sick or died off. So it's just nuts. But then again, I talked to you earlier about the hellhound, and that's on the same street.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to briefly remember that. And that was, again, face-to-face, demonic something, hellhound. Probably the best experience I've ever had that nobody ever probably has come that close to anything that's demonish.
Mm-hmm.
So prior to the hellhound experience, I guess I cheated death several times before that, building up to it, and things happened in threes. So I think the first thing happened was I was at the subway, and somebody was trying to push me, but pushed another person instead, and they were almost killed at a subway, the train coming. So I looking back, and the guy was like, said, "Sorry, I missed you," and then it was just bizarre.
Sorry, I missed you. You were supposed to die by this train, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
So, I mean, she didn't die, but she got hurt, right, because of the fall. So I was freaky. I was supposed to die, and the next day, I'm driving along, and there's this car's flying right in front of me, and my car literally gets stopped at 60 miles an hour. Some hands put their hands on the front of my car, on the front of the trunk, and it's like my car stops in the middle of 60 miles an hour, and this car veers right across. And if I wouldn't have stopped, it would have hit me, right? I would have crashed. Instantly killed. So I got rid of that. I survived that one. Then something else happened the next day. My friend, I was working as an electrician then. So I was going up to, take the power off. This is commercial buildings as an electrician. And we thought the power was off, but it was on. So he went on to turn the morettes off the wires, touched the black with a screwdriver, and the whole screwdriver melted. He got hit with a huge streak of electricity, threw him across the room 20 feet, and he went to the hospital, and he had a whole arm was all full of was electrocuted. And it would have been me because I was supposed to go up there, but I was doing something else.
Yeah,
So that
zipping,
was the
frying
third
off
one
your
that
body
happened.
parts. How
Yeah,
else
so
can
he ended
we
up going
disable
hospital. I
you?
just missed the death thing too.
Oh my
And he ended up
gosh.
dying later. He ended up dying of a heart attack from the electrical burns, right?
Robert in the
what
chat room
happened
is
to Scott.
saying, "Zombie Subway, eat flesh." Oh.
So then finally all that happened in 3 days. I'm going home, took the bus home, and I was going home late at night to my beautiful haunted house. And I had all these bushes around. So the bushes are around, they make like a fence those days. They had bushes as a fence kind of thing. And
A
hedges,
hedge.
right? Yeah. In those days, like people don't maybe use them as much now. Anyway, walking through, and I'm walking close to my house, and maybe 50 feet away, 100 feet away, I'd say. And I'm on the sidewalk, and I'm looking down the street, and all this wind starts flying around. It's a perfectly nice night. Nice black night, nothing going on. Just all of a sudden, all the wind is rising up. All the wind's rising up, and all I hear is this whooshing coming all the way down the street. I look down there, and it's like there's this big black thing down the end of the road. Okay, down the street, maybe way down there. I think, okay, maybe it's a dog, maybe it's a person. And it looks like it starts coming towards me. It's running. And it's like really starting to get big now, like huge. I go, whoa, what is that? So I start running towards my door. The thing is huge. I look and finally get to see it, and it's a giant dog, huge. And it had red glowing eyes. I still remember that it was leaping. It wasn't like running. It was literally leaping. It was like
Yeah, they kind of hop
ground.
around like a deer bounding through things, or there's certain things you can think of. It's not like a dog does. This is different. It's weird.
Yeah, it looked like a huge hound, something. And the weirdest thing was I could see a silver necklace around its neck, and it had a pentagram. And this thing was yelping and screaming, and the whole air was in the air, screeching. And oh my God! I ran to the house. Thing was coming right at me. It was bigger than maybe 6 feet tall. I don't know because of the length. It just looked like a huge thing. It just dove. I couldn't get the key in the door. I could not get the key in the door. It's like no matter what I did.
It's like a scary movie. You're like, I can't find the right key.
I'm kicking the door, everything else. It's a big wooden door. Finally, I get the door open, and I slam it, and I try to close it, and you hear this bang right into the door. Huge, just like, holy cow. And then it's screeching and yelling, ripping the whole door apart. You hear claw marks, chunks coming out of the door. Amazing. And I'm whoa, I'm pushing the door, I'm pushing the door. My dad wakes up and goes, what the hell's going on there? What's going on? He's sitting on the stairs looking at me and goes, help me hold this door closed. And he goes, what? Somebody attacking you or whatever, like with a knife.
Here, let me let the door open and let you see, Dad. Jesus. Could you just help me hold the door closed?
He wants me to open the door, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm pushing the door. He finally helps me push the door. It stops. I go, oh, I was freaking. He goes, what the hell's wrong with you? He says, was somebody chasing you or something, I said, no, it's a dog. I said, dogs don't do that. Not like that. So we finally wait a minute, and then I hear nothing. All I hear was right when he's asking me, this huge howl falling about 20, 30 feet. It just goes all the way down, like a tunnel. Yeah, like going down the ground, underground. So I finally open the door and I get brave. Look out, there's all this green mist everywhere, bright green mist. And there's a puddle right where this thing did, wherever it fell. It was all green, like slimy lime green. Serious, like a sulfur green. You could smell sulfur anywhere.
Ugh.
Huge. And then we look at the door, and he goes, and there's claw marks, 3 claw marks, chunks taken out of the wooden door. He goes, oh boy, that's it. Who attacked you and all that stuff? So he calls the police. Police come, and they won't believe me because he says, I couldn't tell him it's a dog.
Until they see it.
Said,
jeez, oh Pete, I hope they see it.
Oh, dogs don't do that. Dogs, like, how does it 3 in a row?
Maybe it's rabid. Maybe it's possessed. Maybe it's a fucking hellhound.
Yeah, so he didn't believe me anyway. They thought I was mental. So I couldn't tell him it was a hellhound.
Are you on drugs, son?
So anyway, police come and they're laughing. I go, look at the chunks on. They took a picture and went up and went into the news again. The Toronto Star came. Some guy in the neighborhood they put out an alert for some guys attacking people at the doors.
Oh my gosh.
And it didn't even look like a knife mark, because the knife can't do that, like claw marks.
That's
right?
worse than just like accepting your story and taking it as that. Oh, now we have to let the whole neighborhood know there's somebody out on the loose that's trying to break in your house.
Yeah, so that's how they turned it around. And the police are laughing about it. They said, yeah, some guy did it. There's no way a dog could do that. So, again, nobody believed me, but I almost got killed off with that one. And I'm like, cow. Not good.
I think that's interesting, and also the fact that you said, like, these houses are built on Native American burial land. This is sacred land. Where my house is built, there was a Native American and Spanish, basically called the Spanish Indian War. And a lot of people died here. I did not know this until my neighbor next door about 5 or 6 months ago was moving out, and they had gone and visited the museum. Every time I walked by the museum, it was closed. So I couldn't go in and check it out. But she's like, have you not ever been in the museum? Because our property is on the battleground. And I'm like, well, that makes a lot of fucking sense. And I was actually, my truck, okay, so I went and did this investigation up at Vallecito, which is also Native American ground. And it's like you said, every house is like murder, suicide, drug addiction, so many different bad things happening to these people because they're living on the wrong lands. Part of it has been blessed as far as the park and stuff, but the rest of it, they're like, we're just going to let it go and let them collect on whatever they're looking for. But here, so I'm investigating up there at Vallecito. I drive home, and my roommate at the time, Brian, was dating my neighbor's sister Lisa, who lives 2 houses down. That's where my daughter lives now. And he was standing outside smoking a cigarette because he couldn't smoke inside. And he said he saw me pulling in my truck, and he said he saw a massive black wolf chasing my truck. And I call it a dire wolf, but also a hellhound. And there's been, even before that, when I looked on websites about ghosts and stuff like that in the area, hellhounds have been seen around this town massively. And I think it has a lot to do with what happened here and all the loss of life and just the turmoil. It's insane.
Well, apparently there's a sentinel sent by the devil, right? To either do a warning or to say, that's it, I'm coming for you. So I don't know which one to believe, but it scared the heck out of me. And maybe it says cease and desist, checking out dead entities and demons, right? So when the hellhound comes for you, and I cheated death 3 times, that was pretty good.
Right.
So I got away with that, but thank God. Scared the heck out of me, and my dad just couldn't figure me out after that. He didn't want to talk to me for a couple of days.
He's like, I think my son's taking a lot of LDS. Wait, is that LSD?
Oh, yeah. That's what the police asked me, like, a chemistry, if I was doing drugs, anything. I wasn't drinking, nothing. So they couldn't even put it to anything.
You're like, come on, give me a drug test. I don't fucking care. Do something.
Yeah. Then I made it up.
Oh my gosh.
So
we're in the last.
Either
go ahead.
The funny thing is, the police say either he's amazingly telling the truth or he's psychotically insane. Because they couldn't believe that they couldn't even make up a story like that. The police are going, there's no way. You must watch too much TV, or are you trying to just write a novel or something? They couldn't figure it out. But all this happened right in front of me.
It's insane how some of us are perceptive to these things and others of us aren't. But we are in the last 5 minutes of our show, so would you like to once more tell our listeners where to find you and any sort of finish-up message that you wanted to share this evening?
Yeah, well, the main thing we didn't talk about was, of course, crystals. And I do ground myself. Being honest, it does work.
Mm-hmm, it does.
I always try to watch.
I use them in the hospital.
Yeah, well, I use them for ground. I use a black obsidian for negative energy to protect against negative energy. I use a cat's claw, cat's eye. It also warns off negative energy. It protects you and helps your overall bodily. And I have black onyx, of course. Black obsidian is the best, I find. And just other things that can ground you, and find your own birthstone that can protect you too.
Oh, that's cool. And, I never even knew that. Your birthstone. That actually makes sense.
Yeah. because it's your birthstone. So
Yeah.
mine's Aquarius. I'm Aquarius, so that's my amethyst, and it does enhance your body, enhance your energy. The good thing is, I should tell you that when you use crystals, you should always charge them. Believe it or not, you have to charge them and keep charging
I
them once
think
a
the
month.
only one, not only charge them, but cleanse them, and the only one you don't have to cleanse is selenite, because it is an angel stone, so it kind of cleanses itself.
But they still have to be charged in the sunlight. Most of them will work by sunlight.
That makes sense, yes.
And keep them in your left pocket, and it's always good to have that. And I found that copper, this works really well for people with alien problems. Copper discharges energy, it discharges alien activity, and any kind of electricity. So I've used that around my bed. It's worked amazing when I had abductions happen.
Yeah, I have a huge obsidian stone that I keep in my hallway to protect me and my children. So it's in a central location. But when I do go to the hospital, I have this little spring thing. I used to have on a necklace, but the necklace broke. But it's still in the little springy thing, and it's tourmaline. Tourmaline is good for...
Yeah, black tourmaline is also good. It works too.
Yeah. So tourmaline,
for sure.
selenite, and especially my St. Michael medallion. Anytime I go to the hospital, I wear it. And I even give it to my daughter when she goes. I'm like, hey, just put this in your pocket. It could protect you, because there are things that linger there and hang out, and it's pretty creepy. So yeah, use that. I actually forgot it last time, so I was kind of paranoid, but everything went okay, so far as I know.
When I do ghost walks in the cemeteries and everything, there's a lot of energy around. I always use my stones in protection, and everybody else is getting attacked and freaked out, and things are happening, and I'm fine. I walk right through it. I walk through, and nothing bothers me. So the crystals do protect it, and it helps a lot.
It really, really does. And people are just like, oh, wow, that sounds like hippie shit. But guess what? Before hippies were even around, this stuff was being used. So it does work. And, crystal stones, so many crystal stones, once they get them all together, maybe we'll find the real truth, but they all hold different amounts of information. It's kind of like a computer sort of storage thing.
Yeah.
In the old
yes,
days. Yeah, it's pretty intriguing.
And also to sage your house once in a while, at least once a month or more, because you're getting rid of negative energy, getting rid of negative dirt and dust and things that build up, and energy builds up. It just goes to the corner, so you got to get rid of it. So I sage 2 times a month, and also I use incense. I burn incense, and it clears the air.
Have you tried Palo Santo? Because right before we started that last hour, I burnt Palo Santo in here because we're about to talk about dark entities and such. So I burnt some Palo Santo, which is known as holy wood. That works really well as well. So sweetgrass, sage, Palo Santo, so many different things you can burn. Even temple incense that have everything in it.
White sage works well for me. Buffalo sage is
That's
great.
what I like, is the white.
Also, cedar is really good for incense. It really protects you and cleans the air.
Yeah, blessed cedar.
Yeah, white cedar is amazing. Fir is good sometimes, but depends on the energy. And also, last note, you should always, if you have a lot of activity, burn a white candle for about an hour in the middle of your center of your room, which will absorb negative energy. And using a freshly cut lemon in pieces of 4 in a bowl of water will absorb any kind of negative energy when you go to sleep at night in your bedroom.
Very nice. Well, on that note, I just want to thank you so much once again for being my guest tonight and joining us on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. It's been very awesome, and I hope we can do it again very soon, because I feel like we have more to talk about, but I'm so grateful that you were here.
There's always something that's going on, but thank you very much for having me, and stay positive and stay in the light. And to all your viewers, hope you have a happy haunting somewhere.
Indeed. And thank you to all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, KPNL Radio, Twitter, iHeartRadio, and wherever else beyond the Omniverse you may be listening tonight. I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend. We have Mr. Robert Rigi. I hope. He just had polyps removed from his throat, so he had to cancel on the 5th. So hopefully he's better for this next coming Saturday. And then we have Mr. Travis Willier Moose Tooth from Canada, and yeah, we're going to be talking about all kinds of different things, and so I'm super excited to have these guys on. But you guys don't forget, we're all in this together. Together, we can make the world a little better, and together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. If you'd like to join us for the Skype after party, look me up, or send me a contact request at live #TessaTNT.Thomas30 or